Early in the morning when the sun does rise, laying in the bed with bloodshot eyes. Late in the evening when the sun sinks low,
I think late.
that's about the time my rooster crows. I got women up and down this creek, and keep me going, my engine clean.
Yep, there it is. We're live. First time in Bent Methods history. We're in a new studio. We're live on YouTube. It's a little scary. I'm a little nervous.
A little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, we got Bradley here for round 2 or 2.0 of the pod. What's up, Brad? How's it going?
Going pretty good. How are you guys? Good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Too damn long.
I mean, we can blame COVID all we want, but probably should have made this.
Also, just blame all of us. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, head over to the website, get yourself some of that merch. Help us out, support the pod. If you like this pod, apparently you do if you keep downloading it. So yeah, hit subscribe, help us out, help us reach our dreams.
Yeah. Get some shirts.
Get the Yashik Folga shirts. We've raised another almost $700 for Yashik with the shirts. So it's pretty cool.
I just got mine.
There is. Brad has got one.
It's a beautiful life.
It is a beautiful life.
I've been wearing mine pretty regularly, and it's holding up well still.
Nice you're wearing ours today.
Cozy.
You dry it on high? Are you one of those guys?
No.
Hang dry?
Cold wash, low dry.
That's the key.
Hang dry the jeans.
Yep. Oh, you got to hang dry. Yeah, you got to.
The woman learned that lesson.
I'm not allowed to do laundry anymore. I fucked it up one time, and I shrunk some clothes or something. I don't know. Apparently, I'm not supposed to put all these clothes in the dryer, and then I put it in the dryer, and it's supposed to be hung. So
it's a thing. I mean, you got to do it.
Yep. So not my job anymore.
Now, do you separate colors? Like how in depth is your laundry do you get here?
I'm not like a lunatic. I just no, I'm not that OCD. Although my mom used to shrink all my sweaters because I'm a freak. I'm pretty lanky, so I like having my sleeves the right length for me. So it's always been a bit of a touchy subject in my household. So from the time I was a kid, I've always done my own laundry because I was like, screw this. If you're gonna bitch at me for not doing it right, but you're shrinking all my stuff, I'll just do my own. And she's like, fine. So I just always have.
Yeah, perfect.
Nothing worse than wearing a long sleeve or a sweater and it's just too short. It's too short. This feels weird.
Oh, you have no idea, man.
Yeah. I also hate when the sweater gets all bagged out and the sleeves start dragging in water on the tables and stuff, and then picks it up for us. Anyway,
those are good ranching sweaters.
Yeah. How is the ranch life going for you right now?
It's good. It's pretty full on. Lots of brandings, lots of cows going out to pasture now. So it's sort of the turnout season, we call it.
Yeah.
So they've been either at home in people's yards, and then you bring them out to the big acres where there's all the fresh grasses. If we do open grazing like we do, that's kind of how it's run. So there's lots of animals out there just eating grass and doing what they do now.
Perfect.
A lot of mooing, a lot of wind, a lot of dust, but a
lot of nice days in the sun for you then.
Yeah, a lot of good days. It's a weird kind of where our ranch is. It's a weird place where everyone thinks Saskatchewan is just pan flat, and it is if you're on the number one highway. But if you go an hour north or an hour south of there, it's a completely different landscape. So we're actually pretty. We're kind of in the foothills. Would be kind of Longview area. It's very similar to that. There's no big mountains, obviously, but it's there's some decent elevation.
Yes, same with Manitoba. People think Manitoba's flat too, but when you were driving down to Morden or something like that, it was pretty. There's a lot of hills out there.
Yep, a lot of lakes, and it's a totally different planet when you go just south of the number one highway. But
So you've been you're in Calgary quite a bit now too, though.
Yeah, I got the new gyms. We're rocking and rolling now. So I'm in Calgary pretty much every 2 weeks. I kind of do a cycle where I go to the ranch, get everything done, I need to get done there. Then, I come back to the city and get everything moved in with the gym. We just got all of our new equipment in today, so that's kind of why I'm here this week, is getting everything set up and all the paint's on the walls now, and we're ready to rock and roll here for Stampede.
Nice. So anyone can go get a membership at this gym, or where is the gym?
September. It's on 17th Ave, 17th and 8th, right on the corner there. You know where the TD Bank is?
Yeah.
It's right next door to that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So there's 2 levels right in that little division.
What's it called?
MU.
MU. Okay, cool.
Migration Unlimited. Yeah,
perfect, easy. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Everybody can remember that one.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Sorry, you said that's open for public when?
And it was supposed to be this first of this month, but now with all the restrictions and stuff, we moved it back to September 1st.
Okay.
But we still do like private training, and anytime you want to come in for like a one-on-one session or like a small group class, we'll offer that depending on what the government in Alberta here decides to do moving forward the next month. But we should have the doors open for, what is it? 10 people can be at a house now.
I can't even keep up with it.
Something like that. But like whatever the restrictions are, we'll have the same thing allowed.
The restrictions, of course.
Yeah, you can't not do that.
Yeah.
But
sweet. People should just go to like the Bent or not Bent.
Yeah, go to Bent.
Go to Bent Message. The migration website to check that out.
Yeah, or go to you can go to moveu.com.
Okay.
And then you can also go just like on our Instagram as well. There's we're doing a bunch of marketing right now and a bunch of we're changing up a lot of the logos and everything just with the new facility being open. So yeah, follow Migration Limited on Instagram or on the website, and we'll have all the information up there pretty shortly.
Yeah. How big is the facility?
Square footage, I have to talk to Corey about that, but it's big. There's 2 levels. We have there's like a 600 square foot room with just turf. So there's like a 40-meter turf section.
Cool.
And then a big like hit room beside that. The roofs are like 24 feet high. So we have like TRXs hanging from there and a bunch of squat racks. And it's a high performance gym. You can't go in there like, it's not like Gold's Gym where there's a bunch of like weight machines. It's like you have to go in there like with a purpose to train for like speed and agility, or like you're trying to
it's athletic training.
You're working for a sport, not just there to like become a bodybuilder.
Dude, that's kind of nice though, because sometimes you go into one of those other gyms and they have all this space and equipment and stuff, but it's not quite exactly right for what you want to do for your particular sport. Like you're getting pretty niche with some of this stuff, right? So
we have the general public, we'd love for you to come in and like, if you want to do like a workout with us, a HIIT class or like a rowing workout or a spin workout, we have instructors that specialize in training those disciplines or those have those little niche markets. But what Corey and I focus on is high performance athletics. So
sweet.
You don't really need a whole lot of like machines in there for doing this, because it's all like a lot of it's lateral movement and agility work. So you're not really going to be like pressing like a pec deck. You don't really need that.
Yeah,
you need like cables and bands and someone that knows how to move biomechanically really well.
Well, that's just it, the biomechanics of it, right?
So we're really trying to advocate for that with the turf in there too. We analyze gait and people's like like when we talk about how we're training like sprinters to run faster, and like how your foot's planting and your relation to your knee and your ankle and your hip. We can analyze all that with our camera system, and we have a really cool like virtual reality system that we're putting in. I want to say it's first of its kind, but in Canada it's pretty advanced compared to what other gyms are doing.
Okay,
so you can actually put these goggles on. You can do a spin class or like a HIIT class in your house, and it looks like I've worn these things, and I'm not a tech guy at all. And your brain doesn't know the difference now between like that like reality and actual reality. So you think you're actually there. There's no like, you put a pair of sunglasses on, you can see the rim of the sunglass. You don't see that with these goggles.
Oh,
no way.
So you can be doing a workout with like me or Corey instructing, and you're in your house, but you think you're in the gym with us.
That's nuts.
And
then you take them off, and your brain kind of like, it takes half a second to be like, holy shit, that was actually real.
That's like the uncanny valley thing, isn't it? What's the deal with that? It's like I've been listening to a lot of podcasts on like the simulation theory and all this stuff.
Now that I've seen these, I'm like, it might be true.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's like how long until that's all we do? We just lay in bed and put on these goggles and then we go about our day. It's
honestly, now that I've experienced this, and like I said, I'm not a tech guy. Like I can barely operate a cell phone. It is fucked. Sorry for my language, but it is.
Don't worry about
it. It is crazy. You're just like this feels like totally real.
Yeah.
And you take the goggles off and you're like, I am in my living room.
Wow.
But I was just like transported to like a different reality.
I'd be interested to give that a try, because I've tried like the video game stuff and it makes me sick. Like
you do feel a little weird. At least I did when I first put them on. I almost got a bit of vertigo, but it went away in like 10 seconds.
Okay.
Like I almost got like sweaty and hot. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here?
See, I was good for like probably 20 minutes or so. And then it was like, I could start feeling my body spin.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, my body knows I'm not in that reality, but my brain, it was like this disconnect.
That's the thing. So once your brain kind of goes, okay, I'm going to just roll with this.
Yeah.
And then you take them off, then you that's where I felt even weirder, because I was like, okay, I was sure that I was sitting on my couch, and now I'm in a different world that feels real.
Yeah.
You don't notice any of the other like things that are happening in your like actual physical dimension.
Right.
It's just your brain telling you, no, we're here now. This is normal. then you go back to actual reality, and it's a trip. But you should come over and like we'll show you how it works, and it is wild. I didn't believe in it at all. I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
And then Reese, our tech guy there that was with the gym, he showed us this. He operates all the spin and rowing stuff, and I was blown away.
That shit scares me.
Oh, it does for me too. And the goggles are kind of big and heavy, but like I'm sure in a couple of years those will be like just like you put on like a pair of sunglasses.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we have those at our work where it's essentially a set of sunglasses. You can put them on and it shows you all the measurements of the car just through the glasses, so you still have your hands free as you're working on the cars and pulling frames and stuff.
Okay, so with that, do you think in like 10 years from now or whatever it is, we'll be able to just drive a vehicle with our thoughts?
Probably. Yeah. 10 years maybe. Well,
or not even drive at all. Just
technology
moves
here. So fast now. Like what used to take 100 years of technology advancement now happens in 10, right? Yeah. So anything you're thinking of could very well be
probably going to happen.
I mean, like I was reading an article today about I can't remember the company, but a bunch of these companies like Microsoft and Virgin invested in these air taxis. So they're like little plane helicopter things to taxi people like 100 miles or more, right?
Jesus.
Yeah, and it's like happening. They've got 1,000 pre-orders for these things. So like this was futuristic things.
And
like
now
if you saw it in a movie,
you'd
go, yeah. Same with the goggles you're talking about. Like who would have ever thought you'd be just virtual workout sessions?
Well, the thing is, you think like 10 years ago, I'm like, yeah, we know it's like kind of the thing that it's in the future. And like you watch these movies and they're like, well, that's pretty far out there now. It's just here. It's just like, no, it's like, it's actually there.
Yeah. You think it's going to take 100 years for it to happen, but nope.
So I always wonder, even like thinking about like construction, a drive-by building, even our place that we just got built, like how much concrete went into that? How much concrete and asphalt there is just in Calgary alone?
Oh,
like I'm like, where do we keep getting all this stuff from?
Like, and you see how thick the roads are. Like you think it's this little thin layer of asphalt.
It's like a 6 foot high pile for like as far as you can see.
Yeah, like
hundreds of miles of this.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that you can go on one piece of pavement that is connected between here and Mexico. Or you could go to
on top of gravel though that built that road. Yeah,
it's nuts. Like,
and there's millions of those all over the place.
Yeah,
and you're just like, you don't even think about it.
And then you start talking about the buildings and stuff, right? Like the same amount of quantity of material just going straight up.
Just the amount of metal in rebar that goes into a high rise. Like it blows my mind. I'm like, where do we get all this from? Just the ground?
Yeah. Think about all the tires on all the cars. Like that's insane. Like how sustainable is this? I don't know.
Well, that's probably why we're going to Mars.
Jeff Bezos is going apparently.
Oh yeah.
So he says. No,
he's
maybe
like,
he's just going
to Amazon. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah. He got divorced and he's like, I'm fucking out of here.
I bet you him and Elon are like tighter than you think they are.
Yeah, I could
probably like put on a show that they hate each other, but like, I think they actually are like.
Well, how many like you got to think with that kind of money, it's no fun to hang out with somebody with no money, right? So
or maybe it is. I don't know.
Or it's like
I don't have that much money, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, exactly. People without those billions of dollars can't get even into the dinner places and clubs and stuff you go to.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty limited group of people, I think.
Yeah.
I honestly believe and again, I don't have any of this money, but like once you have so much wealth, like excess wealth, there's nothing more you can buy. So it's like you almost kind of revert back to like the Stone Age and be like, let's do some crazy redneck shit because like this is actually more fun than like my super expensive yacht that I don't want to touch. Like let's go let's go on the wet dream with Matt and the boys and let's go to Kook and have a good time. Like I bet you he thinks about that all the time.
Let's go drag a 1,000-pound tree down the beach.
Yeah. I wonder if
you gotta call Todd though to get it moved because he's the only one strong enough. I actually forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was superhuman strength. Like I don't know what that was. You want to lift with a bending, twisting motion with your spine. Todd's like, I got it. Picks it up. It's like a chimpanzee. It's like, what the hell?
Jesus. You think it's possible to spend all of that money? Where do they got like 190 billion now?
I don't think
even possible.
You can just buy you'd run out of land to buy.
Think about how much money you could lose a day and still make it back on just low interest.
Yeah. No.
Oh yeah. Just your savings account is making $1 million a day. Like just
a minute.
Probably. I don't know. His wealth I've never even thought of.
Like you think about billions. Billions is way more than you actually. You sit and break it down. It's like what? It's 100. It's like 1,000 million, right? That's a billion. 1,000 million.
No. Is it?
Yeah, I think it is.
We're gonna get into mental math, and we're all gonna look really dumb.
It's not just
No, 100 million is 100 million, right?
Yeah,
and 1,000 million doesn't sound right. So it's got to be a billion.
No,
well, it's 900 million.
It's 100 million.
It's not. Yeah.
No, it's 1,000 million, bro. Trust me.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah.
Good enough.
No, it's so big it's hard to comprehend. You can't comprehend it.
A lot of zeros.
There was some kind of crazy stat about if he stacked all of his money on, it'd go to the Mars or something, or maybe the moon and back or something.
What increments? So $1 bills, 5s, 10s.
I don't know.
Fuck, $50,000 bills.
I didn't.
Is the paper a little bit thicker the higher you go? What does $1 billion bill look like? Is it just a? It's just like
stacked pennies and
just a piece of metal. There you go. It's $1 billion.
I wonder if he could if he had a penny for every all pennies, it would cover the entire Earth's surface.
Well, I would imagine.
I would. Wait.
If you took all the pennies in the world, 190 billion whatever dollars he has, goes to the bank. I want these in pennies.
So how many pennies is that?
Oh God!
Holy fuck! That's
you cover the. I'm pretty sure you cover the Earth a couple times over.
You just fill the ocean.
Just everything has got copper poisoning.
Is that what happened to all the Canadian pennies? Is some billionaire took them?
Yeah.
No, we don't want this. No, they put it on on all the statues now, and then they all turn lime green.
Right.
So copper does that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It oxidizes and turns
green.
They did that in the legislature in Regina a couple years ago. It looked awesome. It was all shiny, and then within 2 days, it was just black. You're like, why did we spend money to do this?
Yeah.
It's just covered in seagull shit now.
We were talking about that last time. Some of the artwork that gets commissioned. I mean, I'm all for having artwork in the city because it makes it look nice. It's attractive for people to come and live here and yada yada. But some of it's just.
I heard they spent a boatload of money on that big blue circle.
Yeah.
They got it from they got some this is the thing. I'm fine. Spend money, sure, on art. That's fine. Just why don't you keep it local and stimulate your own economy? Why are you going to Brazil or go to France?
Is that where they got that from? I don't know.
Something stupid. They got some French architect or something.
But I don't get it. I'm like, it's just a circle.
Sense.
And you spend how much?
So Todd was telling me about this. Apparently, the idea that architect had was something way cooler, and then they just
nope.
It was supposed to actually be a cool.
We wanted a triangle.
It was supposed to be it was supposed to be a ring, but it was supposed to be in a really cool place that captured this really cool backdrop.
Oh, but then you could see something through the ring.
Yeah, but then they screwed it up and then just plopped it on top of an overpass and put a light post on it.
It looks like a wedding ring.
Oh,
yeah. I'm like,
It looks like one of those rings that a toddler has with his
a ring pop. Yeah. Pretty much. I was like,
just
wow,
stacks the yellow.
I'm not much of an artiste, but I don't get it.
Yeah. I guess that's why we're not artists. We don't get it.
I guess that's why we're just gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
Am I a little quiet?
A little quiet?
I don't know. This boom is kind of. I don't know. I can get this boom going.
It's not booming.
There we go. I think
that's a weld job. I gotta hire you. You gotta weld some sucker rod for me. A couple gates.
I whipped these little stands up on my 10-minute break at work today. I found some scrap steel, a couple bolts, tack them together.
He's a resourceful guy. What can I say?
Oh yeah,
dude. When you can build damn near anything out of steel. You just
for sure. I'm just not a very skilled welder.
Yeah, well, you gotta get a
burn holes and stuff.
Yeah, because you're probably using you probably don't have the right material. You probably don't have the right machine.
I'm also just not very skilled.
Yeah, it's not hard. I could show you how to weld in an afternoon.
Yeah, my grandpa, he showed me. You gotta do the little C's, you making little waves. That's what he told me. But it's I don't know if that's true or not. But he's a pretty good welder.
What rod are you using?
No idea.
7014 probably.
No idea.
I don't know.
You're using stick, arc weld.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't very good.
Yeah, no.
Sometimes I just burn a hole. I'm like, shit.
Stick is tough to learn, especially when you're using on thin material.
Oh no, this is we're building bale trailers.
Oh. So how you blowing through?
I'm just I'm not good enough. I'm just
you need to have, how thick is the material?
Oh, 1/4 inch steel.
Dude, you got to have that heat cranked up to go through 1/4 inch.
Again, I didn't build any of it. I just drove it.
Yeah.
He was just teaching me when I was a kid. I'm like, yes, that seems easy. I'm getting shocked. I'm like, what is happening?
Dude, I went up on the crane the other day to change some lights. We have these lights on top of the shop, and there was a whole row burnt out. So I didn't think to turn the switch off. So I'm up there. You have to actually go in the box and unwire something and rehook the wires up. Ooh. Dude. And I'm 35 feet up in the air on top of a craneway. and if I would have got shocked anymore, I could have like passed out and fell right off.
Holy Christ.
Yeah.
Not for me.
No.
That was dumb on me.
Like, I mean, don't do that anymore, man.
Oh, no, I knew I had to change a couple more, and I had to turn the bank off.
Yeah.
I know it's one of those
Straight
things
to the bank, not what we
you
meant.
forget
Jared.
to think about when you don't physically see the electricity going through it, right?
I don't know much about that stuff, honestly. Like, I'm pretty low IQ with welding.
Oh, you know how to ranch. That's more than most of us know how to do.
Ranching's kind of part of welding. You gotta
know how to weld. I can show you.
I mean, you don't need to, but like, you're gonna spend a lot of money hiring someone to do it unless you do it yourself.
We'll have a couple whiskeys. I got a welder out in the garage. We can go show you how to do it after.
Honestly, I'd be down to learn it because I'm not very good.
It's fun. I've been welding for like 10 years, and I still love welding.
And once it's one of those things, like once you know how to do it, like you're not gonna forget.
No.
So when I just want to do basic stuff, like just like building gates, like nothing crazy.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to like build a, like if I want to build something cool, I'd build like a stand like that. That'd be cool to learn.
Yeah, you can just build anything. It's nice to just have the skill to be able to like. I suck with wood. I learned how to use wood. I framed this whole basement, and I got better with wood. But still, I'm like, this would be so much easier with steel.
Really? Huh?
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I'm a little more well versed with wood, just building houses and stuff. My cousin there, but it's like I'm just not like that's just not my skill set building stuff. I'm just like, I could build things, but I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You'll do it if you have to.
I'm like, I can do it, but I don't be like, I'm not like, I can't wait to go to work and frame something. Like, it's just not who I am.
Yeah.
But some people love it.
Yeah. That's why everybody has a different job.
Different strokes, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't even like cows that much. And I have a lot of cows.
What's your favorite part about ranching?
Probably just the
money.
Yeah, I wish there was more money in it. If you have cows, you don't have that much money. My favorite part about it probably be outside all day and just like you're completely dependent on, like if you're working with horses like we are, you're dependent on that partnership with your horse, and you have to understand like wildlife and grazing management. So there's no one telling you like you have to do this a certain way and this a certain way. It's like if something gets fucked up, you have to figure it out. So I like working on our feet like that and like thinking on our feet, and it's like you're kind of reacting to the way things are going. Weather plays a big part of it. So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like getting transported back in time the way that we ranch anyway. We're in the community I live in. Just like there's long, hard days, but it's very rewarding. And you're just like, man, this is like pretty damn like awesome. I get to like ride my horse and like taking care of these animals, but it's pretty peaceful, really.
Yeah. Out there, no one around. That's one thing I do wish about my job. I wish I would got outside more.
Yeah.
Outside is
like now that I do it, like I've done it my whole life, but now that I'm doing it full time, I couldn't imagine working inside.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Even if it's shit weather, I'm like, I gotta go and like you just even if it's terrible, you're like, it's just still better than sitting in an office, I think.
Oh yeah, I couldn't. Oh, dude, I could never do an.
That's what I mean.
Job.
Sorry, like not like I could work in like a warehouse maybe or something, like moving around, but like
even
it's
then,
not the
like,
same.
You still look outside and you see the shitty weather, and it doesn't make it any better being inside. Like,
not really. If you dress for it, you're like, this sucks.
Yeah. Sometimes going out and playing in the rain was a ton of fun as a kid, right? And I'm sure it is as an adult too. Like we just get so tainted in our regular day.
Nobody likes the cold though. That's one thing I will say. Cold sucks.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. The cold is brutal.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some hot days too where you're looking for some shade and stuff.
That was actually the one sobering thing that I learned last year when I started working with at our place there and riding every day. It was like we live in like the high desert, so it's like 10 degrees hotter than it is pretty much anywhere else in the province. So they're like, it's gonna be like a 30-degree day. It's gonna be pushing 40 down in the valley where we are. And I don't do well in the heat. I didn't know that about myself, but I am shitty in the heat.
Yeah.
Like I'm hallucinating almost.
Damn.
You don't bring any water with you. You're like, we ride in this field for like 2 or 3 hours and like what's wrong, which always happens with cows because they have the IQ of a goldfish. So like, well, I'm going to be out here for like 9 and you're like no food, no water. And you're like 2 hours ride to anywhere. So you have to like prepare. I like that part of it too. It's like kind of gnarly to be like, you have to plan your days around like when shit goes wrong, which is 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You always like that bit of excitement though, that something could go wrong.
Oh yeah. We're wired a bit different though, where I'm like, I don't want like them to break through a fence and be like, there's like, a couple $100 in my pocket. But like, if you're like, this is going to be like, we're roping bulls today. Like, this is going to be wild. Like, there's no way around. Something fuck's going to happen today.
Yeah. There is some people that just like rise to the occasion when shit goes sideways. And there's other people that just
freeze up.
They'll shut down. Yeah.
Yeah. It was You see that all the time with injuries.
Yeah.
I'm sure the same with moto. Like there's people that rise to that and they're like, oh, this is bad. And you have to like just react right away.
Yep.
Or some people just shut down completely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's nice to be
I guess that's kind of interesting. Like I wish I knew more of the psychology behind why people are a certain way like that. Like why is someone like, Jared can hit the deck 15 times in a day and, still get up and put his whole heart into it. And other people, it's just first time something goes south, it's game over, right? And it goes the other way too, where like I'm sure there's moments where you give up on stuff that other people wouldn't, like some math equation, or I don't know. I'm probably just
trying to figure out what
throwing things at you.
How many millions in a billion?
True, but
I'm like,
exactly right.
Nope, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to look stupid on live TV.
Yeah, no, I think it's just like probably a lot has to do with upbringing. There's probably some genetic component too, I'd imagine.
Well, that's probably that argument, like the nature versus nurture thing. It's probably a bit of both.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
Probably like a big part of who we all are is genetic, based on your chromosomes from both parents. But another big part of that though is like what you've learned, what you receive positive reinforcement from as you aged.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a kid and your response to fear or danger is flight, and you realize you're not going to get hurt from that, and it's like, okay, this is like how I deal with things. You'll probably continue that later on in life. If you never had a negative reinforcement, where if you ran away from something and someone said, "Get your fucking ass back here," then you get a positive reinforcement. Then you might switch that, and learn that, right? So that's a nature versus nurture.
Yeah, it's tough. Like thinking about raising a kid, like moto teaches you so much. Like even any kind of sport, like moto or any kind of sport, you have to like be totally and like just go all in on.
Yep,
that teaches you a lot about like how you react, and like most moto people are pretty gnarly. Even like the bitchest moto people.
I know, like
just to ride those things is pretty like intimidating.
Yeah.
So it's like even if you're not placing or like doing that well, you're still like putting your body at risk.
Yeah.
Just to like take a 220-pound machine, fly it 80 feet through the air, right? Like that's not something that sounds natural, and it does take a long time to be able to. I mean, there's guys that go out and hit a jump like that the first day on a bike, but they're just a little bit Looney Tunes. They don't know how to actually ride, right?
Yeah.
And this even the guy doing the smallest jump on the track, it still takes a ton of guts to go hit a ramp looking like this on a machine.
Mountain bike and sand, like all those sports, same thing. You're like, man, this is gonna, even that road gap we hit in where was that, in Invermere?
Yeah, I didn't hit it. I was a bitch.
But still, why you hit him on a dirt bike? But I'm like, man, like this is the first time I've ever ridden this trail. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like my asshole is puckered right now.
Yeah, you were sweating.
I'm like, shit, man.
It was like it's probably like 8-foot drop, but it's like
it's across
the road.
It's easy to do when you do it once, but like the first time you're like,
and
pretty
it's like,
scary.
It's so funny how on a dirt bike, nothing's out of the question for you.
I know you go along first lap and you don't even like walk the track, and you're like, oh, it looks like I can jump. Oh, sure, I'll jump.
Get on a bicycle 8 foot, and you're like,
oh shit.
I think I just I'm too like, I don't know. I cannot jump a bicycle.
I mean, I came from the road and like cross country. You're not really jumping a whole lot of anything. So then you get on a bigger bike and you're like, how do I do this?
What?
They're like, don't pull up on the handlebars too hard. I'm like learning how to like use suspension as your friend rather than just like muscling the bike. They're so light.
That's so true for everything. You have to learn not to try to force whatever activity you're doing, right? Like I was teaching somebody how to jump on skis. Oh, it was actually when we were in Fernie, and Victoria was hitting that first jump she'd only been skiing like 3 times in her life, and she wants to hit this jump.
Okay, girl.
So I told her, I said, don't try to jump, just go off of it. It doesn't sound right.
Just don't think.
Don't move your legs. Don't do any don't lock them, but have a little bend. But whether it's
hypoextendo,
like you say, whether it's on the mountain bike, don't try to force the bike to do something, because that's when it does go all goofy. And then it was like also
you want to get like locked up though, right? Like,
and whether it's same with golf too, even I find it's like, okay, it's
a really good one.
Don't try to force it. Just do what it does. Just swing.
Yeah, you got to find that flow state.
I was just gonna say, like golf is all about flow.
Yeah,
and understanding angles. Like I mean, when you look at like a power swing, you have to generate power from like the torsion of your hips and your torso, and how you're like using your body as a spring. But to just swing a golf club, you can swing it pretty easy. Like Imagine like basically you're like you have a rope in your hand. You're just like swinging the rope.
Yeah. It's not like you're hitting a hockey stick, right?
No, it's totally different.
The easier your pendulum is, the easier that ball goes straight.
That always blows my mind
high.
watching people golf. I'm like, how can you not like it? Just does like it just swing it. Don't even try to hit it.
The minute you try to hit it, you're hooking it, you're slicing it.
You guys ever seen Charles Barkley swing?
Yeah. Isn't that bad?
It's wild. He's one of like the best athletes ever.
Yeah.
Or at least in basketball. And the guy can't swing. Like he just like his brain just won't allow him to swing. I feel kind of bad because it's like you're making fun of him, but he has something. It's like there's a mental block he has. It like won't allow him to like fall through.
Yeah, he's got the yips or whatever it's called.
Totally, he does have the yips. So you're like, what the hell is he doing? And he'll be there sometimes. Like he'll be wiggling for like 5 seconds.
You think he's having a seizure?
Totally, and then he like follows through and he goes, "What?"
Yeah.
It's like, did you not just know what just happened?
Yeah.
He's like, hit that pretty good.
Yeah. Even in moto though, it's like it's hard to find that like flow state because I don't know, it's like the best days you ever have on a bike. You just like you can't do anything wrong. You're not even really thinking about what you're doing. I just wish I wish it's hard. It's like I don't know what it takes to get to that point where you can do that in a race because race everyone's tight and they're like thinking too much about what they do. So I found like some of the best races I had were like I went to the movies or whatever the night before, didn't even really think about it. Didn't do anything special out of the ordinary. And I just went and rode like it was a practice. And those have been my best races. But it's hard to.
I was the same way.
But then you have a good result, and then it's like you start thinking about it.
More serious.
And you're like, no, you're not even that. You just like start thinking, oh, I got to do whatever I did last week. So then you're like forcing yourself through this. So it's like a.
Do you feel like you're a superstitious guy then?
No, not really.
Like, what's your biggest superstition on a race day, for example? What's one thing you got to do?
I don't think I have one.
All right.
No, one thing. What I
say,
always
I get her Dom coming down.
wheelie down the start straight.
Okay.
On a hot lap.
I don't know that I've ever seen you do that.
I do it every time.
Huh. I've never noticed it.
Every single time.
Good friend right there.
Yeah.
Well, he's too busy packing my gate.
Yeah, there we go. That's right.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What about you, Brad? You superstitious at all?
In my younger years when I was racing, I was very like, almost the complete opposite that I am now. I was so like clean cut, straight laced. I'm like, I gotta do everything right. Like to the point where I was like, this is OCD. Like, this is crazy. But I got success from that because I was so disciplined. And then as everyone sort of catches up and everyone either hits that level or you start to plateau, you're like, okay, I'm not having any fun doing this. Everyone's as good as me or better. So I want to try to have a little bit more fun.
Yeah. And
I honestly would like, I was never like a huge partier before races, but like, at least not when I was younger, but I would always go out the night before if I knew it was a big race. I'd like you said, I'd try to do anything to not think about it.
Yeah.
Even on like the day of the race, I would think about anything else or like just joke around and be a dumbass because it would take the pressure off of me thinking about what I had to do.
Right.
And I always performed when I did that. Yeah. But then when you say like, well, I podiumed last weekend, I have to do the same thing this week or this week or whatever. It's like, once you start getting to that, though, it becomes OCD again. So I would just literally try to do anything I could to not think about racing. And a lot of people are like just so dedicated to it, but the least amount of time I put into thinking about it, I still train my ass off. Don't get me wrong, but if I thought about racing less, I did better.
So is that? Do you think you guys do better on those days because you're allowing your body to just kick into like the muscle memory and your actual instincts and
once you understand, I might not be speaking for, I'm speaking for both of us here, but once you're confident enough to know that your body is going to do what it's going to do, I'm not stressed at all. I'm like, I know, kick the shit out of everybody here. Like I know my body's going to do what it's supposed to do. Unless I like catastrophically like have a meltdown or something, which doesn't happen very often. Like in terms of like the race, once you get to that level, everyone's pretty much on.
Yeah.
Unless you get sick, it's like I'm probably going to be there.
Yeah.
If you're peaked at the right time and stuff.
Yeah.
That's where it comes down to like, if you know, that's why like I was super OCD about making sure I did like the work in the preseason. Like I made sure I went all in just so I could go to the race, not even having to doubt anything. I don't think you can get into that flow state if you're doubting anything. Right?
No, you're right. You can't. At least in my opinion, you can't. You see, even when I work with younger kids that are in whatever sport they're in, the biggest thing that I find is like they can test like through the roof, whether it's like gym stuff or like their blood work or their VO2 or whatever it is we're testing. 90% of those people that get to the start line, they freak out. They're just like, they get in their own head and they think suddenly they're like not going to perform.
Well, that's me. I can go out and practice pretty well, you know, and keep up with the guys. And, you know, like training wise, is when I was younger, it was always, you know, one of the top guys in the class and stuff like that. And so the minute the gate drops, it was like total mental shitstorm for me. Like, and it wasn't like I even knew it was going on. It was just, I look back now and go, yeah, no wonder you got 5th instead of 1st, or you got 20th instead of, you know, 10th. Like, you didn't ride like you practice. You didn't allow yourself to get into the flow state. You didn't allow yourself to muscle memory take over. You were trying to fight the track, fight the bike, fight the guy beside you. You know, it was just overthinking every last piece of it.
And then look at the physiological response to that is like your heart's going to be increased. Your
arm pump came right away.
Totally, blood flow is not going to be like going to the region of the body that need it. You're going to be, you know, probably hyperventilating or not breathing at all. You're tense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, your body's going to have a response to that.
Yeah.
That all comes from your central nervous system. Actually, the day that I noticed the switch for me, I was going to like junior worlds. I would have been like 17. And I just was like, I was a really talented racer when I first started. Like, that's how I got into bike racing. Just like, oh, you're like better at this than I was in triathlon first. I was just better at biking. So I like test through the roof and all the stuff we do with like the high performance coach. And I get to the races, I'm like, I don't even know how to race my bike at this point. And I'm just like, I'm starting to freak out before the race even happens. I'm like, I shouldn't even be here. I shouldn't be doing that. Like, you just get negative. And the one race where I was like, I remember the moment in time, it like literally changed the whole course of my whole life, where I was like, I'm fucking not going to be scared today. I'm just going to go and fucking bury myself, like to the point where I won't be able to walk after this race.
Yeah.
And it worked. And I was like, from that moment on, I'm like, I'm going to be confident. And it's always worked for me. I'm just like, I know I have this ability.
Yeah.
If I obviously you're trained properly, and it's never come back. It's like every now and then you get a little bit of negativity. If you crash your brains out and you're like, fuck, I don't know if I can ride this anymore.
And we all have that self-doubt.
Totally. But you have to just learn how to turn it off.
Yeah.
Like, no, like I know I can do this.
Yeah. And that probably trickles into other aspects of your life, like learning how to turn off that self-doubt and put a little confidence into it.
Well, if we look at business now, when I started migration, I had no clue what the hell I was doing. I knew like I had the education and background for doing this, but I didn't know how to run a business.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have a lot of fucking people telling you what you did wrong and like you're a piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. You're like, okay. And you start thinking that you are, because you're like, well, I don't know how to do this. And then it's the same thing with anything else in life. Same with racing.
Yeah.
Eventually you crack through this like positive reinforcement side and you're like, actually, I think I know what I'm doing here. And then that's where your confidence comes from. So now when things go awry in business, you just look back on the things you did wrong and you're like, there's a turning point with everything. Here you go. I'm not going back to that anymore. Like I know I have this ability and I know like, I'll get through this, even though it sucks. And then you just start rolling. It's like it's followed me everywhere in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can learn anything from that, if you're starting a business or you're new to a sport, whatever, you basically have to tell yourself like, stop being a negative piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like
which is hard.
Quit.
I think that's really hard for a lot of people.
Oh, for sure it is. That's probably the hardest thing you can do in high performance sport or business or anything where you're trying to get the most out of your like capacity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to that threshold where it's like, okay, now this is going to get like pretty hard here, pretty dicey. You have to be able to be like, I know I can do this and just do it anyway.
Yeah.
Even though everything in your body is telling you like, don't do this.
Yeah.
It's like, why do people get on bulls? Why do you get on dirt bikes? You tell yourself, well, I've done this before, so I know how to do this now.
Yeah.
It's the same thing going forward with anything in life.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like talking to the hot chick at the bar. It's like, I don't want to get rejected. I'm going to look like a stupid idiot in front of my friends, blah, blah. Once you do it once and it's like, I got rejected, it doesn't feel so bad. Then you can just do it again. It's like the same thing with anything else in life.
Well, that's funny. I'll add a little piece to that because I feel like
that's dumbing it down.
Right. That's dumbing it down. And that's what I want to, kind of touch on is like we say, okay, you did it once. So next time, I do feel like it takes maybe 10 times, like we always hear, okay, I got rejected once, like you're talking about with the chicken. So next time it's not going to feel bad.
Is maybe like 100.
Yeah, you're right.
maybe more. I don't know.
But I feel like as society, we all hear that, oh, you just got to get it once and you're over it. Well, no, we got to put some reality check to that. And it's 10 times, 1,500, whatever.
Right. And I agree with you. But when you get that moment, you're like, where it works. The first time you hit a big triple, or the first time you like perform in a race and you're like, holy shit, I actually did it.
Yeah.
then you're never going to go back to the shitty side of that where you go like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Your brain just goes, I know how to do this now.
Yeah.
It's like walking or riding a bike for the first time.
Yeah.
You just remember how to do it now. So then it's just like, focus on that.
There's like hitting a jump that you're too scared to hit.
Yeah.
You psych yourself out all day long. You don't want to hit it. You don't hit it. You come up to it, pin, slam on the brakes.
You look at the face. You see all the little bumps on the like. Oh, what if I hit that?
After hours of doing that, sometimes you go hit the thing. You're like, fucking serious? That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Tell me about it. Women racers are the worst for it.
Getting their heads.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, and I understand like this. Like I'm not a psychologist, but like it makes sense why you're afraid. Like you should be afraid of this,
right?
That like if you fuck this up, you're gonna die or like get seriously hurt.
Yeah.
Like, there's consequences.
Yeah,
it's just like or like if you mess this up with this girl or like you fail this test or whatever it is. If you don't know how many thousands are in a million or the hell we were talking about, like you're gonna look like an idiot. So that's the consequence.
Yeah.
So, but it's like. Did we die from this? Nope. Okay.
Right.
Are we like, okay? Our friends still talk to us? Yeah.
Putting the consequence into perspective.
The perspective thing is huge.
Not all consequences are equal, right? So you don't have to think that, failing the test is the end of the world. Well, it's not. Maybe it wasn't a positive thing because you didn't get into the course you wanted to go into, but there's a different way to do it.
There's always like good that comes out of the shit.
Yeah.
You just have to know how to find it.
Yeah.
That's it. Finding it and waiting for it. And,
what's his name? Jim, who's a Canadian actor, Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
He did this speech for this graduating class, like probably 10 years ago now. Yeah. And he said, this probably isn't a direct quote because I'm going to mess this up, but he said something along the lines of, there's a difference between the dog that is attacking you and the dog in your head, or like the dog that could actually physically harm you, and the dog that's you've made up in your head that's probably not real.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's always kind of stuck with me. I'm like, I know exactly what he was saying, even though he like used a different metaphor for it.
Yeah.
It's like there's a difference between like something that can actually physically mess you up, or like psychologically, or you're creating that in your head because of potentially it could.
Yeah.
It's like that. A lot of this shit isn't even real. You're just thinking that it could potentially happen. Don't manifest that. Don't think like you have to learn how to not think that way.
Yeah.
And then a lot of things open up.
And that psychological attack is probably twice as bad or more than the physical attack would actually be.
Well, because it stays with you longer, probably. A bone will heal
in different ways and manifests itself in your life in different ways that you didn't realize it, right? So that's where sometimes the physical thing is nothing. Like it hurts temporarily and that's it.
Yeah.
But the mental side of it, that sticks with you for a while.
Oh yeah, man. Mental resiliency is everything in any sport, any avenue in life. Like you look at people that just like, you have to have like a talent that meets opportunity.
Yeah.
So you look at anybody, look at Bill Gates or like Elon Musk. These are really like crazy level genius people. I don't think they weren't just handed a check for $1 billion. Like, here you go, kid. No, Bill Gates is probably sitting in his room in his gitch, drinking fucking soda, and
he found out how to steal from IBM.
Whatever he did, though, he probably was told no 1,000,000 times until somebody finally was like, or he somehow managed to have his talent that he had met opportunity, and then it went to like, here you go. Now we're gonna be rolling with this, and he probably never looked back from that point.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not Bill Gates. I don't know.
It's crazy to think though, like what could happen.
Well, you don't know what's gonna happen. That's the thing, though. It's like, why are you scared of something that's never happened yet?
Yeah, I know. You see it a lot too. Like I find that like with the sports and everything, it really helps with that mindset because I go to work and people are just scared to make a judgment call or scared to do anything. And it's I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's like, and then you go hang with people like you guys or moto people or people that have totally been devoted to one thing. They're so much more like adaptable and they're not scared to be wrong. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm really going with that, but
that's true though.
That is a fair point. Like you can't be scared to be wrong.
Yeah. And like, why who cares if you're wrong? People screw up all the time.
Well, think about this. If you're,
you just have to acknowledge when you were wrong. There's too many people that don't acknowledge when they were wrong about something.
Oh yeah. Tell me
about
it.
I think that's the problem. Like you can be,
even I are perfect example.
Right? Like we can always think we're all right, but somebody's going to be wrong at some point in time.
Yeah.
We just have to acknowledge that. And
I
think that's where a lot of our issues come from between each other. And like,
it's all the difference.
Nobody wants to acknowledge when they were just wrong.
Yeah.
And I mean, it wasn't me. I'm never wrong. So
no, tell me, we renovated this house, and like a week ago we had a pipe, we had water leaking through the ceiling, and we're like, oh, what the hell is going on? Plumber, nope, not my fault. Not my fault. I'm not paying for it. Like, nope. Well, these people just will never admit when they're wrong. But I guess he's got to pay for the drywall. He's trying to get out of it.
Yeah.
There's always a reason behind why people are shitty or why you don't think you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's mostly driven by ego. Probably it's probably all ego, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, ego's a trippy thing. And you need a bit of ego, like in racing and stuff, because you need to be confident and like know that
if you didn't have an ego, you wouldn't want to try and pass this guy, or
you wouldn't even be racing, probably.
Yeah.
So it's like, well,
it's that I can't remember all of it, but it's like you got to keep that ego in check with your super ego and your id, and that is like the whole balance of everything. And when you get one of those out of whack, it's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, you're in like a hard couple of years here.
Yeah.
I found it really hard to turn off after I stopped racing in like regular life, where I was like, you identify with this thing that you have been, your entire existence is based around like, I'm an athlete, or like I'm an artist, or whatever the hell it is. And then you just stop doing that.
Yeah. And
then you're like, well, in your head, you're telling yourself, I'm still this, but I'm in something that I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
So I'm in a weird tightrope, like a tug of war with my own brain here, being like, I don't know fucking anything about this, but I think I'm the shit. But you're somewhere actually in the middle.
Yeah.
And you're trying to figure out, like, navigate, like, who do I talk to? Who do I admit that I don't know what I'm doing here?
Yeah.
My ego is going to tell me you're stupid, because you are in this, because you don't know anything yet.
Yeah.
That's like, And as I get older, I realize how much or how little I know with most things.
Yeah.
And you go like, God damn, I was an idiot when I was younger.
That's we all. I think I feel that way.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Do you think you're getting smarter? I think I am getting smarter, but like very slowly.
Very slowly. And it's also like, I don't need to tell anybody anything anymore either. Like I used to feel like I needed to say something like, oh, I have something I can add to this conversation to, I know this fact, or I know something about it. It's just like, I don't need to
it's like whatever.
get into it anymore. I'll just keep it for myself. And
unless it's something that I'm so against, or like I'm like, okay, think of it this, like if you have a perspective no one else has,
passionate about something, you should say something.
Yeah, like the rookie contract in NHL. Oh man, that was a good one though. Like we went at it.
That's one now that like I look back at and I go, okay, 5 years down the road now, would I have argued quite as hard with you on that? Probably not. I probably would have said my 2 cents and then just sat there and drank my beer.
Dude, you like to argue back in the day.
Back in the day, I was all about it.
Yeah, me too.
And now I'm
both you guys.
But now it's like, am I getting smarter or stupider? And it's
totally,
just I'll just.
Sometimes it's a good time to just shut up.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that need to just shut up sometimes. Not always. We don't always need to shut up, but sometimes people should just shut up.
It's also knowing like when to use your muscle in terms of like if you actually know something. You're like, okay, well, these people are talking about something that's like probably the same thing. They're just arguing for the sake of arguing. You can just say something like kind of just like toss it in the thing. They're like, well, yeah, that's what we were saying.
Yeah. Now, there is times where it's fun to get in a little bit of a spirited debate.
Oh, yeah. That one was spirited.
Yeah.
That's our personality.
It's
also.
like if it gets malicious and stuff, then it's.
But that's a cool thing about you and I. I think that's where we'd established where we could probably be friends. Is I was like in the wrong, but I was like, you know what? You never like went at it like later on. You're like, okay, like we got it figured out and it's all good. Yeah. Like it wasn't even like it was a heated argument on really nothing. But it was like, no, like I believe in what I believe, you believe what you believe.
How many times would people have left that argument going, I fucking hate that guy?
Oh no, I'm like, no, he's totally right. You were right.
Well, it doesn't even matter who was right. It was the fact that we could have the conversation and continue another conversation afterwards without dragging that grudge around that, we argued about something for 20 minutes. No, just move on with life. Like
pretty much, yeah.
We don't have to agree about ranching. I could say
probably wouldn't.
ranching's cruel and this and that, which I don't. But
no, but like, you could argue anything if you want to.
Like it's just the way it is. But
and there's a lot of people out there like that. Like I don't get me wrong. Like if I'm feeling like, you know what, I kind of want to argue, I'll argue until you have to really disprove me before I'm gonna fucking give up. I'm just so stubborn that way. But also I'm like, I'd really try to pick my battles with that because I'm like, I'm gonna take this with me for like weeks.
It takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to fucking talk about this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead, believe in being a vegan. Like, I don't give a fuck. Go ahead.
And that's just it. Sometimes you just got to realize people are going to do what they do, no matter
do what you do,
what you do or say. Like, they're going to
totally.
have their own opinion, and everybody can have their opinion. Just maybe sometimes keep it to yourself.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That would be nice. But the world's full of that, man.
Well,
and I'm not saying, like you said, as you get older, you realize, like, fuck, I was an idiot when I was younger. I used to do it all the time.
I still do it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
At least I can acknowledge that I do it, though. And
I find it really hard with like ranching community and with like especially older guys who have never left their communities and they've been to Swift Current. That's like their big trip for the year.
Yeah.
Or they've been to like, they go to like the odd town every now and then to like an egg meeting or like a cow meeting. But they've never like we've traveled
meeting. What's
like agriculture.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like an egg.
No, egg, like AG.
AG, yeah,
like grain
okay.
or like cattle.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I was like, what do they talk about in an egg meeting? Like,
how big your eggs are? What kind of chickens you got? The Hutterites talk about that all the time.
Oh yeah.
They say, "Oh, you take the monies and the cows, but really, it's in the feathers."
I'm just picturing like a group of guys like yourself sitting around having a couple of these eggs. We got to do something about these eggs, man.
Well, it kind of is about cows. Like, we got to do something about these dugouts and these cows they're drying up. Their bags are drying up. And you're just like, I know exactly what you're saying. But if you say this to a city person, they'd be like, their bags are drying up. What kind of fucking bag? They got like plastic bags? Like paper bags? I don't know how to bag dry up. Like a backpack? No, like an udder.
The natural milk bag.
So getting back to what the hell was I saying again about the if you have these like old dogs that have only known the same thing their whole life and they're very good at it, don't get me wrong, and they're very knowledgeable with like a lot of things because they've lived to be, some of them are 80 years old that I'm talking to, but none of them have the experience and the perspective we have traveling the world racing our bikes,
right?
Or like going to university or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Even like if you took these people and put them into China for like 2 days, they would fucking self-destruct. They would have no idea what to fucking do. Whereas like we could go there and be like, this is weird, very foreign. But we can figure it out.
You wouldn't know how to do anything or read anything, but you'd
find a way.
Right. And some of the conversations you have, I'm like, I'm not even going to say anything because I have nothing to offer that is going to change your mind on what your belief system is.
Yeah.
Because you actually don't believe it exists because you've never seen it. So that's where like a little bit of maturity comes in. We're like, I'm not even gonna say. there's nothing I can say that's gonna change your mind unless you've seen it.
I think too, like back in the day, they didn't have so much access to like videos on Instagram and like all this websites and everything you can go look up. So they lived in their little box and that's just what they know and they figured out what worked for them and then that's what they do and that's the only way to do it.
But even now though, like so say you live in your little box, everyone has Facebook, everyone has access to the internet and their cell phone. Like all the ranch, they all have iPhones, so you can Google whatever you want. Even that set of variables is going to be skewed because you're only seeing what your friends post and what like that
that's
bubble.
True. Yeah, you're in your own little echo chamber.
Yeah, so if you're like whatever belief system you have or whatever, religion or whatever the hell it is you're into, or like if you're into ranch, you're into like motorcycles or whatever the hell it is, it's only going to be that set of positive reinforced things that you're going to get coming back to you. So you're not even going to see all the other shit. That's just how social media works.
That's the same thing with like political stuff. Like, so you're like a hardcore conservative and all you follow is conservative people, then all you're getting is this reinforcement of your beliefs, right?
Totally. They're like, oh, you're a liberal or you're NDP. They're like, they're not even going to talk to you.
Yeah.
Whereas like we have probably friends who are a mix of all that.
Yep.
We don't have to agree with it, but like they're in our group of people.
I don't know any NDPs, but
no, you know what I mean? Like in passing, like I'm sure there's somebody that you have talked to or you're friends with. They're just like, nope.
Yeah. We don't even like when you get into those little bubbles, it's like you don't even try to get someone else's perspective on. You just like shut it down. Like you're like, nope.
There's a small few that do, but like it's hard, man. If you said, and if you ever went into like a small ranching community and said, I'm kind of like, I wonder what China's up to, or like I wonder what like the NDP party is like. I kind of like this thing they're doing. You would be run out of town.
Yeah.
And so you don't even have a choice to have your whether you believe with that or not. Like I'm not saying I'm a NDP supporter. I am a conservative, but I'm also like, there's some things that are fucked with whatever. If you go too far extreme on anything, it's fucked.
That's just it.
If you're going to agree with everything that party does,
you're nuts.
You're
Like,
nuts.
you're-
You haven't.
you're
You haven't
just
thought
never,
it-
you're not thinking
Yeah.
about the policy. You're just thinking
You're a
about
sheep.
what color,
what
you
team
like,
you're
you know,
on.
like,
Yeah.
You're a pigeon.
and that's
Your
where
parents were. And
I was
they
gonna say,
brainwash
like,
you.
there's NDP policies that are good. There's Green Party policies that are
Totally.
good. There's conservative, liberal. All of them have something good, but all of them have something pretty shit too.
Totally.
You know, so that's where when people get so pissed off about politics, it's like, well, wait a couple of years and it'll change again anyway.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
But that's the thing with perspective. It's like, well, we can be like, well, I kind of understand why you're, you want to do this for your political, alignment. I disagree with that, but it's like I see like maybe where you're coming from because I've lived in this part of the world, or I've met people that are from this, demographic or whatever it is. They've never done that, so it pisses me off. I'm like, you can't even have a conversation with them to get anywhere because you're just gonna get shut down before you even say anything.
yeah.
Unless you agree with what they're saying.
Yeah. That's why I hate politics. Like, why can't we have some kind of leader that's like willing to change their opinion on something, or willing to look at the other side and be like, okay, maybe that's okay. It's all like, nope. The exact opposite of what this guy said. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's all bullshit.
It's total bullshit. None of it's authentic. It's just whatever's going to get the votes.
It's humans are weird. Like, we every 4 years, or in Canada, it's every whatever time the people in power decide to do an election or have an election. We just vote on it. It's like a popularity contest.
It's the dumbest thing ever.
But like, how else are you supposed to do it? Like,
I don't know.
It's like probably the best of what we've put together, or we think anyway. But it's like, imagine being like observing that, being like, yeah, every couple years we vote on who we think is the coolest or like the best for our.
To me, it sounds better than just having your kid be the next president because
Totally.
he's your kid.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah, it's better than that. Yeah.
it sounds better to me. You know, is it?
There's a whole
Who knows,
system of
but-
bullshit to get to that point of like where you can run for like you're riding or whatever.
Yeah.
What if we did like, we had a representative from each party, and they can all, it's like, then it gets all squirrely when you get into like the House, and they like, how do you have, say you want to pass something, you got to take it to the House of Commons and they got to approve it. So you got to have like a variety of, I don't know. It's all squirrely. You got to have like independence in the House.
It'll never be perfect.
We
though.
should have our political leaders preach the other party's policies so they understand what the other party is getting at. I feel like nobody even understands the other party's side of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just say
Probably not.
like you said, they just say it's wrong and go and do their own.
Like if you think it's wrong, then explain the whole thing and explain why you think it's wrong. Not just say nope, close the borders. Nope.
Well, that's the thing though. Is like, well, I think we're all fairly similar in like what we want to do with life and our beliefs, but it's like what you think is good for your family and it's going to give you the best, whether income or stability, whatever the hell it is, you're going to vote for that.
Yep.
But if that, I don't agree with that on what gets for me, I'm going to go against you, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's like that with anybody. So it's hard. It's weird. When we're like, we have 4 options. You got to fucking pick your poison here.
Yeah.
That's strange to me.
And that's where like I was saying, I almost don't care because in 2 years, 3 years, whatever, 4 years, it's going to change anyways. And I used to think maybe that was a long period of time, but
Yeah.
it goes by pretty quick.
They can't really do a whole lot in that period of time anyway.
Nothing. It takes 2 years to reverse whatever the last guy did.
Then the next guy comes in and puts it back. And
yeah, it's
what they should be doing is, well,
Yeah,
like the voters should be not just doing voting on what's best for their family. They should be voting on what's best for the whole
that's
province.
what we're supposed to be
But-
doing.
but everyone's
we
selfish,
take it
though.
so
No,
individually.
I don't know if it's
now.
selfish, because I think, like, if you say you live in your bubble and you think that this is going to bring you the most income, in your head you think that is the best thing for the whole province or the
So
country.
now,
if you're a rancher and you don't live in the city, you think that everyone should be like abiding by ranch law and
Right,
like this is
yeah.
where you should live, and like I agree with that, but also like if you're from Hong Kong and have never seen grass, you've just seen concrete your whole life.
Yeah.
That's what you know. Like,
yeah,
who are we to fucking tell them what they should, like, you know what I mean? Though, like yeah, I'm sure, but we don't. There's too many people in the world. We don't have this is the best solution we have. It's like people who are getting pissed off at the government with like this COVID shit.
Yeah.
And this is gonna piss a lot of people off. But here's my honest
warning.
Let's go.
Warning.
no, here's my honest opinion on this. So we got a global pandemic happening. Whether the virus came from China or not, whatever, people are getting sick. That's pretty, like, I think everyone understands that.
It's happening.
Mhm.
Yeah.
People are getting sick and people are freaked out. So we have to develop a vaccine. And when I say we, I don't mean us. I'm talking like smart people. Develop a vaccine smart people in like disease control, develop a vaccine to cure a disease that is running rampant across the entire world in like a year. No, I don't know what a polio vaccination or like tuberculosis shit. It probably took years to develop.
100. Yeah.
Every other vaccine, years to develop.
Now
we're doing this in like a couple months.
Now, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Well, hold on, I didn't get to my point.
Okay.
But it's like so we have this in play.
Yeah.
Then you have people who are losing their jobs.
Yeah.
Like all over the fucking place. Like we were my business pretty heavily affected by COVID.
Yeah.
So like we can all agree on that. All of us are. So it's like
I don't think there's. Well, I shouldn't say a single person because there's a lot of people that profited off of it, but the majority of the planet, the overwhelming majority of the planet,
at least I'm talking just in Canada,
negatively affected by COVID.
Totally,
for sure.
Socially, you can't go talk to your friends, you can't like all this shit. Government restrictions
that really fucked a lot of people. Like,
well, yeah,
me too. I'll let you get to your point.
No, but so they had now what is it? 70% of people are vaccinated.
I don't know what number.
Or they want to get to that, but like there's a shit ton of people getting. There's a lot of people getting vaccinated.
Yeah.
And they're like, and as it's going, it's like this is a pretty big leap in getting things open and back to normal.
Yeah.
And trying to do the best. Like, I'm not saying I support liberals, but it's like, what the fuck would you do if you were in that position?
Right.
You have an entire country, entire world that's going to be like fucking freaked out about this. Here you go.
Right. And
go fix this.
That's what I say. Come up with the proper solution.
And everyone's bitching. Everybody else is like, and don't just fucking know the solution.
Don't just come up and say something.
Totally.
You have to have
think about everything.
Some form of proof that your solution is going to possibly work.
Think about everything
with with some confidence. It's going to work with some confidence, not just I think it's going to.
But that's the craziest thing about this is nobody knew because we're like we don't know we've never seen this virus before. It's not like it's like the Black Plague or or the like swine flu or like Ebola. Like we've never seen this before. So now it's like, okay, we develop a vaccine. This isn't going away. Everyone's getting sick. Holy shit. It's like, okay, we gotta shut the world down.
Yeah.
It sucked. Don't get me wrong.
Well,
I don't agree with the shutdowns that have been.
And I think we only thought it was going to be short lived too. The fact that it took a year, like this thing carried on for a year.
Boy, it's been a year and a half now. A year and a half, like end of June.
No, I think when they shut things down, they weren't thinking it was going to be for a year.
So, no, I don't think anybody did. But that's the point I'm getting at. It's like, what the fuck would you do
if you knew it was going to be shut down for a year? If you knew your country wasn't going to make any money for a year, was going to be shut down, locked down, you probably wouldn't have done it.
Of course,
but you're thinking it's 4 weeks,
but
or
you
something,
you don't. And then there's conspiracies that say like, "Well, no, they know, and maybe that's true." But I'm like,
perfect.
I'm like, holy fuck!
Put the magnet in my arm, track me, do whatever you want. I don't
like. I just want to go back to normal kind of deal. But also, it's like, like if I was Justin Trudeau in power, I'd be like, fuck, okay, I gotta hire but I gotta work with the best disease control people, and the people that are saying like, oh, you can't be doing this, do this. These people have been working in this field, specializing in this. Their whole life is dedicated to disease.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna sit here as a rancher and like a fucking professional bike racer and say, I don't fucking agree with that. I don't fucking know.
If it was one person working on that vaccine and they came out with it and that was it, might be
there's hundreds of them. And I'm assuming
there's thousands and thousands around the world all working on this thing, all reviewing each other's
around
work,
the clock,
all 24/7. Yeah, like. Maybe is it 100% known exactly what's going to happen with the thing they created? Maybe not, but a lot better than what was going on.
Yeah.
I don't know,
I don't know, man. It's like I know two close friends of mine that had COVID and they're like our age, like young, good athletes. And they said like, I'm not fucking kidding, man. It was hell for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like no energy, like splitting headaches, like fucking couldn't breathe. And they're like, yo, like I know we all thought it was kind of like, come on, like it's a flu.
Cold.
They were like, dude,
cold,
I was fucked.
But here's the thing I don't like about the whole way they handled it was they just not even the way they handled it. I just didn't like how there wasn't enough emphasis on like taking care of yourself. There was like no talk of that.
Oh, that's my whole business. Like, don't get me wrong, I disagree with a lot, but it's like, what the fuck are you supposed to do?
Yeah, I know. I don't like. I get the lockdowns. What I think we probably like. Obviously, I'm Monday morning quarterbacking it, but. They should have locked it down for like 2 weeks. Stay in your fucking houses. We'll deliver groceries. We'll test the workers. We'll like stay in your house for.
But that's the thing. You don't know, right?
Here's the real question coming out of this thing: if it happens again, not if, when it happens again, because it's going to with the population and the way the world is.
Yeah.
When it happens again, did we learn from this one?
You'd hope. Yeah.
So will we do things differently the next time? So, sure, our first time round wasn't perfect. we failed in a few areas of controlling this pandemic and doing what we had to do. But when the next one hits, did we learn from this one as a world to where the next one's going to be easier?
Like, it depends what the kind of virus it is.
Yeah, it'll be a whole new thing, right?
This one,
but even if like something's coming around, it's spreading throughout the whole planet as fast as it does now. It's killing people even quicker than this one. Would the government do what you're saying? Would the governments around the world do a serious lockdown for a short period of time where literally nobody leaves and does anything?
But yeah, I'm also worried about them doing that, like jumping the gun on it, because I remember back when like the first I remember like seeing in the news the first COVID case. I'm like, yeah, I don't get it. Like, what's going on? Sure. And then, we got the first COVID case in Alberta.
Those, like, those people on the cruise ship, then,
yeah.
Was in just outside of Italy or something.
Yeah. And
they were stranded on that cruise ship. They're like, we can't let you land because you're like, you all have this crazy virus. We're like, yeah, sure. Like, yeah, you probably got like bit by a mosquito.
I remember thinking like, yeah, I don't know really what's going on. But then I feel like it could be something that's maybe less. And then they'll go like, nope, lock her down, lock her down. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird though. Like, I think one thing that should be like, I hope they kind of realize this, highlighted the like how our healthcare system maybe needs some work, because we're like overloading the ER with our ICU beds and everything, but we have less cases we had at like the peak of it, less cases per capita than the States.
Yeah. And they also have like a tenth of the population.
Yeah. But they were able to handle the ICUs, or maybe I could be totally wrong. Maybe people just aren't going to the hospital because they have no insurance. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like the States is pretty much wide open right now, and we're still pretty much.
Most states we're
pretty locked down still.
I got two of my good buddies that were at a rodeo in Utah and in Texas there a couple weeks ago, and they're like, "Fuck, stadium was full."
Yep.
Like full.
Could you imagine a full stadium here? That'd be insane.
It's weird watching hockey now. Like you guys watching any playoffs?
I don't watch any.
I didn't either until this. Like, I didn't watch any hockey all season. I'm just like, playoffs around. I'll turn it on. And it's weird seeing Canadian teams with no fans, and then you turn on like the Vegas Golden Knights game. I'm like, this is rocking. Like North Carolina, the Hurricanes are rocking stadium. Like 20,000 people. You're like, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
It's super weird. And we're like, you drive like south here an hour and you're in the States. Yeah. And they're wide open. Here we're like, nope. Yeah, it's definitely weird. I'm not saying it's not weird. And also, I agree with you big time on the whole health thing. Like, stay in your house. You can go to the fucking mall, but you can't go to a gym to like take care of yourself. Like, get fucked.
Not even encouraging people to go outside. Not even like that one like Teresa Tam or whatever said vitamin D is fake news. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like, I don't know about you, but every time I work out, I feel pretty good after.
Yeah, you feel good. You go outside, you feel good too.
If I am like drinking my face off inside and I'm eating shitty food and I don't see the sun, I feel like a bag of shit. So
that's what we were encouraging people to do. Like, well, not we, but that's what they were like, stay home. And then they got all this, skip the dishes. You can get booze to your house. You can get any kind of shitty food to your house. It's just like kind of a recipe for disaster.
I wonder what the actual psychological toll has taken on people. Like, take away like disease entirely. Psychologically, how ill are people now with this COVID thing?
Psychologically, like
how many people like that have lost income or like lost like their spouse, or like they went through, like, obviously you're going to go through a rough time with COVID no matter what, but how many people are like really fucked up psychologically now because of these restrictions and not being allowed to do the things they normally would do?
Well, think about just like, I feel like I'm really like a believer in community. I feel like community really brings like a really strong component to your life, and they kind of took that away.
Imagine like not being able to go see your sick grandparents, whatever the situation is, right?
Yeah. So I think community is really important, and then they tell you all of a sudden for a year, you can't have community. You can't go to your friend's house. You can't. I think it's been like 7 months since they said you could go to someone's house.
Yeah.
So you're here illegally. Actually, I'd like you to get out.
I mean, we're not even 6
This is we're a business. This is a business.
Are you guys vaccinated?
Yeah.
I got one vax.
I got one 2 days ago. My arm's kind of sore.
Oh yeah, it hurts for a bit.
Dude, I feel like kind of shit the next day.
Apparently the second one is the shit one.
A couple of my buddies got that and they said, like, dude, I felt like I was gonna puke for like 12 hours.
Dude,
my mom just had it. She was laid up for
second dose.
Second dose, yeah.
So my brother got the first dose, Parker.
Yeah.
He was like, it fucked him up big time. Like,
really? Yeah.
He was in bed for 5. He lost like motor function and everything. Like, it really messed with him.
He's good now though, or
he's good now, yeah, but he's like scared for a second dose because his second dose is probably gonna be worse.
Yeah.
No shit. Who'd you get? I got the Pfizer one.
Yeah, I think I got Pfizer too.
Yeah. It's funny. I saw like when they signed up for it, it said Moderna.
Yeah.
They get there and they pull the. I don't care. Like,
just get it in me, whatever.
Give me the juice and let's go.
Yeah.
But, yeah. It was just interesting how you sign up for one thing, get a different one. I
just went in there. I didn't because I'm a Saskatchewan resident, but I work in Calgary lots, so I'm just like I still have my Saskatchewan ID and stuff. They're like, no, if you come to the walk-in, as long as you like get your time slot in.
Yeah.
If you work here and you can prove that you worked here, like we'll give you a vaccination. So I go in there, totally the same thing, expecting the Moderna one. They give me the Pfizer. I'm like, I don't really give a shit. She's like, okay, you're like, you can get a second one up to 4 weeks. Like that's pretty quick turnaround as opposed to like, what was it, 4 months before?
That's what they were just writing because they just wanted.
They're trying to spread the doses out so they can give all they're trying to give get everyone first dosed up.
Yeah.
I think that was their idea, but
the second one's just a booster, from what I understand.
And then they're telling you need a third now.
Yeah,
really,
you'll need a third eventually. Apparently,
really,
allegedly.
Yeah.
This is what they're just making money off.
And you know
right?
what? Like, there's people complaining about a passport vaccine. Guess what? We already have one. To go to public school, you need to have mumps, rubella, measles, all these.
But
what's the freaking difference?
The government's going to be taking your DNA. Like they already have it from birth.
Yeah,
like they take your fucking blood.
Here's the difference between this vaccine and all other ones. We're doing it to 7 billion people at the same time,
or more. Yeah,
not just as you're born and every 10 years or something like that. Like, maybe the passport vaccine that they're talking about, we're like, oh, you got to have to do 10 baseball games and shit. Like,
like where
doubt that actually happened.
Yeah, but you never know. Like this Trudeau guy's pretty nuts.
Well, half the reason I got the thing because I was like, I want to go to rodeos and like races in the States. I don't want to be bullshitting in a hotel for fucking.
I just don't want to have to quarantine too. Right?
I was
That's
like,
what I mean. Yeah.
When things open up, I don't want to be waiting 2 weeks for a shot and another 2 weeks for it to kick in. It's just I want to be ready to go.
Yeah, like I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah,
let's go.
I don't want to wear a mask anymore. I don't want to. I just want to be ready to go back to normal life when they say, let's do it.
That was my thing with the mask. I'm like, put a fucking mask on, but keep businesses open. If you're scared to go to a business, don't go. But you can't prevent people from making a living.
Yeah, that's fucked up. And then they give
that was my biggest thing with COVID.
All the benefits to the big corporations that can stay open the whole time, right? All the Walmart. Oh yeah, you can stay open the whole time. Sure.
Yeah, it's
and then there was like us where we actually wanted to shut down for a period of time, but we couldn't.
Really?
Like the insurance wouldn't allow it, and you were an essential business. So, we had insurance in place for, pandemics and things like that, so that staff still get paid, business bills still get paid. Can't even use it because they're essential business. But we ain't getting any sales because no freaking business out there.
Dude, tell me a bigger criminal than the insurance company. I bet you know way more than
I
me.
could sit on this podcast for an hour and call them out on all their fucking bullshit. They are such
let's do it.
Shady fucks.
I got nowhere to be. I got a whole case of beer here.
And I only know one side of it too, right? Like I only know the car insurance side of it, and it's just
be talking like about Mike Tyson motorcycle accident.
Broke my back.
Do
you guys watch that the Mayweather Logan Paul fight?
I didn't watch it, but that sure shocks me.
What happened?
This guy tied him.
Like, what was it like?
They called that going in though. They knew there was gonna be no winner.
Yeah,
it was. I don't think it was.
Well, how old's Mayweather now? 50 something?
No, he's
probably 40s.
Probably like mid to late 40s.
Yeah. Still, that's
he's
old compared to a 20.
Dude, he's like 30-40 pounds lighter than him.
But dude, he's the best technical boxer in ever.
Like, I don't doubt that at all. But all he has to do is sit there and not get hit, right?
And I'm pretty sure he let Logan Paul hit him because just like for the show.
Sure,
and then I'm pretty sure he knocked him out and he held him up. I watched that and I'm like, I think that motherfucker's out. Like he's a big bastard. And he was like full on like bear hugging him. Like, he was like, "Yo, man, wake the fuck up! Like you got $100 million in line here. Wake up!"
Yeah,
that's nuts. You think that's crazy? You're a YouTube guy, and you're just gonna, I'll fight this guy. Make $100 million.
But to be honest, though, like he ain't no joke. You see the size
he's
of
legit.
him?
He's legit.
A fucking big time.
Sure, yeah.
He's a good athlete.
And I watched a couple of like the highlights, so I didn't get the whole fight, but it looked like he knew what he was doing. Like
he knows how. He's been boxing like 3 years.
Exactly,
like, he's gonna learn. But like you're against the best, the most talented, and probably the most like dedicated boxer in history, and the most defensively like talented. Like you're never gonna fucking touch that guy.
No. It was just a shock to me that like
he made the best in the world look like an idiot.
Exactly.
And you're gonna you've been doing this for a couple of years. Do you think for real he's gonna let you win? Like
he's gonna fight Deontay Wilder now. He's gonna get probably knocked.
Logan Paul?
Yeah. He's gonna get.
Yo, I don't like Deontay Wilder. I think he's like a whiny. I won't say it because he could probably kill me, but he's like that fight against Tyson Fury. He lost outright, and he bitched about his walkout costume weighing too much. That's why he was tired. It's like,
oh, come on,
dude, shut the fuck up.
This is what I mean about accepting when you're wrong.
You got outboxed. Your ego is so big.
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, that guy is like a savage. Like he one punched like 40 fucking people in a row, and then he fights this big, the big British guy, like this fat big white dude, and he fucking lost didn't lose, like get knocked, like his brains didn't get scribbled.
Yeah.
He just got outboxed. He's like, "Oh, I was too tired because my thing was too heavy." It's like, dude, you're like 220 pounds, one of the best athletes in the world. You have a 30-pound costume that caused you to lose. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anything,
all of my respect is it's
Yeah.
out. Gone.
We all know guys like that'll just like find any excuse they can get, right?
Fuck me. It's like, dude, no, you lost because you're not as good as him. That's how you lost.
That's like that's part of getting better though. You got to be able to admit when you just sucked.
Well, and there's days too where maybe normally you are better than that guy, but today you weren't. Just something about the day, something about it's like a race, right? There's some races where you just don't got it. Like settle for the position.
The difference with racing though and fighting is you're fighting one time.
Yeah.
Racing, you're racing all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you're gonna figure it out eventually. If you never won a race, you're saying, oh, and you have all these excuses. No, you're just not that good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas if you lost in a fight and it was like a fluke, that happens sometimes.
Yeah. There's so much anticipation.
But if you listen to any UFC fight ever, not one time did they go, that was a fluke. You go, no, I just got beat.
Yeah.
Like
Conor
McGregor, every time he's lost, he always goes, he beat me.
Well, I actually like that's pretty badass that he's like that now. Like he maybe wouldn't have been like that 5 years ago or 3 years ago, whatever it was.
But like that's the thing, like nothing will humble you like losing.
Yeah, you got to lose.
Yeah.
Losing's important.
But the people that have never won will always find an excuse.
Well,
Let's say that.
it's funny you say you got to lose because it humbles you, it teaches you lessons, right? I think the same goes for, and I'm gonna take heat for this now. I'm sure, like to an extent, and I'm talking about a very low extent here, people. Bullying. You need someone to make fun of you every once in a while.
I totally agree.
Toughen up a
How
little bit.
Dare you? How
Okay.
dare you?
No, there's extreme bullying, which
Call
is
Peter.
definitely no good, right? But like this is where I was like, oh, kids should be on sports teams because you get razzed by your friends about you had a bad shift on the ice, or you kind of sucked that lap on the track and you look like a total squid out there with your elbows down, and you need your friends and people to call you out every once in a while on
because if you never have that growing up, and say you have a bad race and someone says, hey, you look like shit in that corner, you're gonna have a meltdown.
That's right. Yeah, you need to develop that tough skin and go, oh, you know what, he's right, I better do fucking better.
Totally.
I just better be better.
And it weeds out the people that are not cut out for this shit.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
I got hazed super hard by this guy named Andy Thomas, who's maybe watching this. He's one of my best buddies now, or listening to this. But he was a couple years older than me, and like he was like the top dog in like Sask and Alberta and BC when we were racing.
Yeah.
And I always looked up to him, and he used to pick on me like fucking crazy. Like not like physically beat the shit out of me, but just enough to like razz you a little bit psychologically. You're just like, I hate this fucking guy.
Yeah.
And honestly, the day that I finally beat him, I've been best friends with him ever since, because he goes, like, you made it. Like you figured it out. Where everyone else was just like, no.
Yeah.
Like they're not cut out for this.
Yeah. Well, and the same goes like if a bully, kind of picks on you a bit at school. The day you stand up for yourself, he's probably like earned some respect, and you're, again, to an extent,
totally an extent. I'm not saying go and beat the shit out of people and like be mean to people and make fun of them, but it's like I used to make fun of my brother relentlessly, like for everything, because he also had like braces and glasses and was kind of pudgy and not that athletic, and I was perfect. So
that's funny that you say that, because I was listening to a podcast the other day where someone was saying like all the best UFC fighters have older brothers that picked on them.
And my brother is a fucking savage, like to the point where I'm like the only person that walks this earth where I'm like not even like there's a bunch of them, but like that I know is him. I'm like not ever because now, and it's a weird thing, he's younger than me, but I look up to him in every aspect of life now, and I know in like I have 30 seconds if we get into a fight. Yeah, maybe. Like, it's a weird thing that he has power over me. Where I'm like, that guy could kill me in 30 seconds if you want.
Well, your brother's an actual fighter, right?
I know. Well, yeah, and he's also like special forces now. But it's like, but I think I created that in him by bullying him so hard.
Yeah,
and he was like, no, like it's like a big reason why I do what I do now. I'm like,
absolutely.
Whoa. We talk about it, like we talk every day.
Yeah, you take it too far, you're going to destroy a person, but you do it with
I feel like a lot of guilt. Like I really do. I've told him this. I'm like, I'm so sorry for treating like a piece of shit when we were like 10. He goes, no, like it sucked, but also it like taught me to like fend for myself.
Yeah.
Like weird.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with any kind of bullying, but you have to be able to like, you have to know that there's like better days coming. Because I was bullied too. Like I think everyone's got a bit of bullying. Like, you come out of that and you kind of I don't want to say you overachieve it, but you.
So I guess maybe bullying is probably the wrong word.
It's almost not really.
It's
not. You can call it that. You can call it that.
Yeah.
You don't have to be politically correct on this shit.
I guess so.
It's like if you don't have that pushback and you're not able to like rise to that and be like, okay, this is a challenge in front of me. This sucks. I hate this feeling. I'm embarrassed. Blah, 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 whatever you feel.
Work to get out of
overcome it. That's the word I'm looking for. Once you overcome that, then it's like that's no longer holding power over you.
And then next time it happens, you know you can overcome it, and
like,
can
totally,
because it's going to come up in your life.
You have to have adversity,
adversity, discomfort.
If you don't have that discomfort and adversity in your life, you're never going to get to that hierarchy of like, establishing yourself as what you want to be. You're never going to do it.
And even think about it like in the sense of like weather. So in all winter, it sucks balls outside. It's cold. Think about how much better the summer feels than rather being like just down south somewhere where it's the same temperature all year round. Like I feel like you really appreciate those like brighter days more than when like you maybe normally would having it all the time.
I've always said like the reason why a lot of the like my buddy Matt Johnson there and Kelly Weeb and those guys they're like world class cross country runners that came out of Regina, Saskatchewan. You're like, how in the hell are you running at a world level, like Olympic level, like distance running, and you ran on a treadmill most of the time because so cold where we come from? I think it's honestly because when they got to like warmer climates, they're like, this is fucking awesome.
All of a sudden, their endorphins are going.
They're just like, I'm ready. Like I nothing is as boring and as hard as running on that treadmill for 3 hours a day.
Yeah,
that's the same with us with biking. It's like no, we're like riding on a trainer in the indoors, or like riding in the wind in the snow. It's like then you go to Arizona or California, like this is actually heaven.
Yep. What do you think your life would look like without any discomfort, any adversity? Like, what would you be doing?
Sitting in the bottom hole.
That's where we are now.
I'll be dead, maybe. I don't know.
You'd just be doing a podcast the whole time.
Oh. I think you'd be a whiny little bitch.
Oh, that's where all the whiny bitches come from.
Trust fund babies. It's like, oh, I don't have the Maserati I wanted. Like, dude, I'd rather the same fucking car I had in high school.
I'm still that way.
Yeah. No, but it's like, really? And I think that they wish that they had what we have.
Yeah.
Mental fortitude anyway. Not so much like the physical or the financial side, but like I would much rather have, I've never come from money or had a bunch of money, but like I'd much rather have the mental ability to overcome adversity and to just push back on that than just having things given to me.
Well, that's your character, right? That builds your character.
Yeah. Like I don't want to be known as a wuss. I'll be like, yeah, like that fucking guy. Like if it comes down to it, he's got your back, and I'll figure it out when I got to figure it out. Like I like that about me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wish that was the way for everybody. I wish everyone had like a little bit of money and everyone was good, but then it'd be like, that's just not the way the world works.
Nope.
Unfortunately. It's the same with, like I said, with the racing though. Like you have to be able to, you have to have a little bit of that hazing. I think that's maybe missing now. I'm pretty sure every generation that's older than us too probably says the same.
Yeah.
So we're getting to that point in life. We're like, fuck, maybe we're getting old. But like, yeah, I don't see a lot of like, if you see a kid that's like, that is a tough kid, or like someone who is like able to like overcome adversity, it's rare now. Like,
you
rare.
barely see it. Like I see it all the time with these like apprentice kids. It's like, hey, you can come in on a Saturday. Let me call my mom and find out. Like, what?
Yeah. No, we've had guys' moms call in for them.
Yeah.
And like, oh, well, he needs this job, and why wasn't he in here working then?
Like, he's not feeling well.
And my mom would be like, twist me by my ear and be, get the fuck to work. Okay.
Or at least make you call in yourself.
Oh, that, like, how do you have,
unless you were like dying in like swine flu.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like if that happened, like back in my day, that happened.
Back in the day,
I walked up a snowbank twice.
Snowbank
was uphill both ways, to school and home.
Do people's parents go with them on job interviews these days? Like, So when I was 14, I went in for a job interview at Boston Pizza, and I think I got hired, but
what was your job?
You think?
No, like it was my first ever job interview. I just turned 14.
I don't know, man.
I'm going for a job interview. I went and handed my resume to the lady.
He's a bartender.
No, she was the right girl. But then she mumbled something I couldn't understand, and then she like walked to the back. I'm like, am I supposed to follow you? So I just left. Shit. I just left, and I went to my next job interview at Canadian Tire. I got the job.
Easy.
I think
put
Canadian...
the check in the mail. $8. Were you a dishwasher? What did you actually do?
I didn't work there. I think I got hired, but I just left because I didn't know what she said.
I thought you were saying, yeah, I was a bartender. I was 14. I worked underage for like 4 years.
No, then I had another job interview lined up across the street at Canadian Tire, and I got that job. It was probably I was going to be like a bus boy at Boston Pizza, but
you're like buttering garlic toast for people. Like, yep. That's a good story though. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's so, did your parents go with you on the interview? Is that
my
why
parents dropped
that?
me off? They dropped. I had to. You're 14 now. I don't know.
No,
we lived out in the country.
Get out.
I thought you were saying like parents actually went in.
Yeah, like I wonder. Like I wouldn't be surprised.
No, they dropped them off. Said, Jared, get out.
Get out.
You don't get this job. Don't come home.
Walk home.
I got off school. I got out of school, and I had to ride my longboard or my skateboard across town to go to work. 4:30 every day.
Yeah, he does it still welding. I ride my longboard to work, and I work 12 hours, and then I ride home up a snowbank.
Well, dude, it's actually crazy to think I worked in a welding shop when I was 11 years old.
Yeah,
that shit would be like highly illegal now. But it was back then.
It was too. Yeah.
Anyway, I gotta piss. You guys want to take an intermission?
Yeah, let's take a quick break here.
Yo, man, don't come back in this car unless.
Higher than the grocery bill. Take my troubles to the high wall. Throw them in the river and get your fill. We've been sniffing that cocaine. Ain't nothing better when the wind cuts cold. Oh, it's a mighty hard living, but a damn good feeling to run these roads. I got people try to tell me, Red, keep this living and you wind up dead. Cast your troubles on the Lord of Lords. Wind up laying on a cooling board. But I got buddies up White House Road, and keep me strutting when my feet hang low. Rock up whiskey gonna ease my pain, and all this running's gonna keep me sane. Get me drinking that moonshine, get me higher than the grocery bill. Take my troubles to the high wall, throw them in the river and get your fill. We've been sniffing that cocaine. Ain't nothing better when the wind cuts cold. But it's a mighty hard living, but a damn good feeling to run these roads. It's a damn good feeling to run these roads. When you lay me in the cold hard clay, won't you sing them hymns while the banjo plays? You can tell them ladies that they ought not frown, 'cause there ain't been nothing ever held me down. All men, women, or shallow gray, same old blues, just a different day. Get me drinking that moonshine, get me higher than the grocery bill. Take my troubles to the high wall, throw them in the river and get your fill. We've been sniffing that cocaine. Ain't nothing better when the wind cuts cold. Lord, it's a mighty hard living, but a damn good feeling to run these roads. It's a damn good feeling to run these roads. It's a damn good feeling to run these roads. This is Blues Power. Let's have a party. Come on, everybody. Leaning out the darkest corner of my mind, taking all my full circle, making straight lines, and getting to the bottom of the bottom, getting to me. I've been holding up the mirror to everything I don't want to see, but it ain't no flowers. Sometimes you gotta feel the thorn. When you play with the devil, you know you're gonna get to home. Been dancing with the demons all my life. Every time I find my groove, they cut in like a knife. Been a sin eater, Lord, since the day I was born. Tired of feeling weighed down.
You always are the one who keeps it together. Always are the one who knows just what we need. You always are the one who stays home with the baby. You gonna be the one who stays right here with me. Well, I've been working fingers down to a bloody mess. And I've been working sanity down to the bone. I've been working hard as I can just find some time to get you all alone, so we can going out on the city, have a little whiskey.
This is a way better setup than the last one. Yeah, still. Not your bad one. The last one's bad. It's just like,
Baby, you know so pretty.
it's like a chairs.
Yeah, it's way more lounge here, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. We need a curtain there because it feels a little open right now, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. It's
I don't
good.
mind seeing that though. It's all
New,
good.
new Possum Hole is awesome, actually.
Possum Hole
This is-
2.0. Is this
the
the
Bronc beers are just making it even more comfy
yeah?
down
Shout
there.
out to Bronc
Yeah.
Beer sponsoring the podcast.
That's right.
Yeah.
Paul, if you're watching this, we need some more.
yeah, we got.
What do you guys think of it?
I like it. Yeah,
It's good.
I haven't tried it. I'm on a keto right now.
It's like a
quick
it's all
keto.
good.
It's like a pretty traditional lager. I feel like it's
nothing crazy,
it's,
but it's also like it's just you can drink them and they're easy to drink.
It tastes like an Alberta beer to me, pretty much.
Yeah,
like
that's kind of what they were going
they're
for.
From Alberta.
Yeah, Calgary.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Oh, they're from Calgary.
How'd you get hooked up with those guys?
Sick.
They approached me. I think they just saw that I was into rodeo and into rough stock sports, and was a rancher and a cowboy, and it just sort of fit the mold for what I was doing, and they've been nothing but awesome to me. They're like, beer aside, they're the people that work for them are friggin' top notch people, man. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that's cool.
They really they support like small businesses and local athletes and people trying to push the limits of what, like, for example, like what we're trying to do, and I couldn't say anything better about them.
Well, extreme athletes like to drink beer usually.
It's true. Yeah. Like competition season, not so much for any of my clients watching this. Don't do that. We do not. Off season.
Oh, you gotta make up for it somewhere, right?
Oh, for sure. No, but
I don't know if there's many races out there that don't kind of get into in the off season.
The odd one here and there. Like, there's nothing better than a cold beer after a hot ride. Like, honestly, I'm like, these are sweet, and it's just like I said, it's like they're trying to push the boundaries in Alberta and Saskatchewan. I think
here's what's kind of nice about it is it's like I feel like everybody is trying to make some craft beer or something, right? Totally. It's not a craft beer. It's just a regular beer.
There's like, this is just a beer.
I could just drink this
just
beer.
A regular ass beer.
Yeah, I don't have to be some
beer snob,
man bun beer snob. I can just have a beer.
I like craft beer too, don't get me wrong, but I also like, if I want to drink like 4 or 5 of them, they make me kind of like they're filling.
Yeah, I got a buddy down in Australia right now, and he's sent me a picture of some Ben and Jerry's cookie dough beer.
Dude.
Yeah, I was like, "What's that like?" He's like, "You only want one." It's delicious as
that's the thing. Like,
but
I would sip that, but like, I don't want to drink a bunch of them.
Yeah, no, you don't want to drink that. He says.
If I go camping or if I'm out riding, like if we're at a rodeo or we're out at a branding, like, these are awesome. It's easy to drink.
Yeah,
and it's just, you want a beer. Like, I think like beer. There's one flavor I think of, and it's this.
Yeah, that's the beer flavor.
It's just like a regular domestic like beer. Like, it's just a lager. I don't need anything fancy.
No, that's what I like about it.
You don't need raspberry or anything.
I don't need I don't need crazy flavor.
I don't take a sip of it and go, "Oh, okay, let me adjust to this for a minute here." It's just beer. It's exactly what I expect.
It's a beer, and when you drink that, you're like, "That's beer." Yeah.
Nice.
Good job, Bronc Beer.
So, Bradley, so you're kind of venturing out of the moto scene a little bit, getting into some bull riding and stuff like that. Who do you guys still have for moto guys?
Really trying to get, I'm not saying we're getting out of moto, just like with COVID, it's kicked the shit out of everybody in that industry, and
especially on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of where we're established. And now with the rodeo thing kind of happening, rodeo is really the only sport that really was still going full gas during COVID. So
you can't catch COVID from a bull, right?
That's right. No, ain't no bull gonna tell you that. But no, it's really like it's a similar like mindset to how you train moto or mountain bike riders. Like, it's still an action sport, still like fairly extreme. It's
all the same muscle groups and
some of it's a bit different. We're training a system called the ATP system with bull riding, because it's only 8 seconds, or bronc riding or like bulldogging or even team roping. It's like very rarely you have a team rope under like over 10 seconds. So you're only training a specific energy system. So it's like full on sprint power. But mobility, rehab, like all that stuff is very, like, core work is all very prominent in rodeo. So it's just like, I'm like, how do you guys, like, what do you mean you don't train for this stuff? It just seemed weird to me. So I was like, this is a no-brainer in my mind. That's why we got started with that. But yeah, with moto, it's I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a bit weird this year, because, or the last 2 years, because there's nobody in it anymore, it seems. And I'm a little bit sick of I don't know if the series is just behind paying people, or that trickle effect kind of happens with guys like me, or trying to make a living training people. And it's like, if you're not willing to pay for the programs, and like, for us to make a living, it's like, I'm not going to hand them out anymore. Like, it's just like, this is how it is. So I've sort of taken my licks with that, and I'm just not going to do it anymore. So I'm out.
Yeah, it sucks to leave a sport with kind of a bitter taste in your mouth, though, right?
Well, it's something I'm leaving it. Like, I still have a couple moto guys involved, and working now with Spencer and the enduro side of things, and I got nothing but good things to say for that kid. He's a good talent and works his ass off, and he's a good guy. I like working with people like that more than the ones that think that they're too hot shit anymore. So that's just the reality of the business of the sport. And I said I took my licks. I'm not doing it anymore. So if you want to train with us, great. If not,
well, how can you sustain a business if, like you say, the money's not coming? Then
you're not paying your bills, and you're not willing to put the.
I think any business person could understand that. Like,
yeah, it's like if it's not making money, it's not making any sense.
But it's like athletes don't really see that business side a lot of time. They're just like, oh, well, I'm this guy, I should be getting this for this price. And
it's like okay, so
you're not really considering the other side of it,
like the bull riding side or the agriculture side of things. They don't have that same kind of hubris going on.
Cash in hand.
Yeah,
here you go. This is what like handshake deals mostly, and it's like this is your word, and you're expected to produce this result, or not even result, but like this is the training we're going to offer you.
Yeah.
I've never had an incident, at least so far anyway.
Yeah. So are you dabbling in still some of the other sports, still like cycling, and you're kind of all over the place?
We're an action sport training academy, but if you're a hockey player or volleyball player or whatever you're into, and you need some advice in the athletic world, or you want to us to design you a program, we do that for you.
I feel like someone like a hockey player could potentially benefit from your program. Like
we do work with 2 hockey players right now.
Like, don't take it the wrong way. They might not benefit from working for you from 10 years. But they were in a training program. They come over to you. They gain more knowledge and different muscle groups and stuff like that because you have experience with different sports and things like that. I think that could only help a guy to get outside of hockey trainer, get outside of a motocross trainer, get outside of some niche trainer, because they're probably missing an aspect of the training.
Like the physiology and the biomechanics of a lot of sports are very similar. It's like you have to understand the sport. Like if you've never played the sport, it's really hard to like really know what it takes. But also like if you have studied the sport or you have played a bunch of sports, you know what the body needs, and you can assess people like with our expertise of like their weaknesses and their strengths, or like whatever the deficiency is with nutrition or with like how you peak a certain athlete for a certain time, or if it's like anaerobic or aerobic or like whatever volume of training they need. It's different for everybody, but that's what we do is we assess every athlete differently. We work with hockey players. We work with like pure power athletes like in rodeo. We work with endurance athletes in motocross and triathlon and like distance running.
Yeah.
So we're versed in all these sports. We chose action sports. That's what my background's in. And my desire moving forward with this company is to have the best action sport athletes in the world working with us.
Yeah.
And we're just one facet of like what it takes to be a whole athlete. Like we're doing the training programs and we can help you with some of the mental side of things, but like a lot of it's diet. A lot of it's like we have to train you to like understand the psychology of things. I'm not an expert in psychology, but we have people that work for us now that are experts in psychology. And that's what we offer.
Yeah.
So Corey and I are specialists in strength and conditioning and like agility. So if whatever sport that is that you're trained to get better at, we study those sports to help you progress in that sport. That's just one thing, though, that we're doing. There's 10 other things or more that you have to work with a bunch of different people to get the most out of it.
Yeah.
So these people that say like, oh, we offer everything all under one roof. That's what I want to do. It's a step-by-step process. I can't just be like, this is what we're doing. I do all of it. That would be crazy to say that. So it pisses me off a lot of people in the industry. They're like, yeah, no, like, we're the best at what we do. It's like, we're maybe the best at one thing.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not a neurologist. Like, I don't know about concussions. I don't know about like, brainwave activity. I don't know about, even like people who have like severe knee injuries. Like, I'm not a knee specialist. I can help you with the rehab process in the gym, but we help you like, link up those dots to help you in your sport.
Yeah.
We work for you. Like you don't work for us. That makes sense.
Right.
So with Moto, I just found it was just like pushback after pushback after pushback with like thinking they know everything. And it's like, well, we don't owe you anything because you're, we're only doing the strength conditioning.
So you kind of feel like some people just hire you just to say they have a trainer and they're training, rather than actually,
Yeah, a lot of times too. Like, I can't do the work for you. I can tell you what to do. Like Jared's a perfect example. Like Jared busts his ass. I give you the tools. Like this will help you progress. And then we study your body and how you will react to the training and how you adapt to it and adjust that over time. But you do the work.
Yeah.
And you're one of the few guys I can say that I know you bust your ass. Probably did more than what you were told to do. So we always like, Jared, maybe don't go quite as hard today. You're getting a little tired. 90% of people I train don't even submit like a weekly log telling me like, oh, this is a problem, or this, like, it just like all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to this race this weekend and I didn't really ride at all the last 2 months. I'm like, so that's on me.
Yeah.
I can only give you Corey and I can only give you the tools.
Yeah.
And show our abilities and what we think is going to help you, which is what you hire us for, is what you hire any trainer to do. I can't do the work for you. I can't race your bike for you.
Right.
That's on you.
Yeah.
And with moto, I just found it was more of like this is cool to do this rather than like I actually want to put the work in, because it's not fucking easy. And whatever sport you're doing, it's not fun. Well, it should be fun, but it's like there's days you're not going to want to do this. I don't care.
Yeah. I
am not here to babysit you. I'm not here to tell you you're the greatest shit ever, because you're not.
What? I'm not.
No,
how dare you?
But you know what I mean? Like, but you put in the work. Like, I know you did.
Yeah, I did.
I don't have to like call you every day and be like, yeah, did you do this workout? Did you do this? Do this? How'd you like? You just told me.
Well, and even if you're putting the work in, still doesn't mean you're the greatest.
Exactly.
Nope.
Talent goes a long way. Like, I hate to say it, but
it does.
Talent needs opportunity. Yeah. But it really, the moto thing has really deterred me. If I'm quite frank with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to hear. I mean, like,
and I bashed my head into a wall for 3 years with that, and I'm like, and then I go into rodeo, and it's just like it just works.
Because like people inside the moto industry, we think it's all rosy and good. So it's interesting. Like it's good to hear somebody say that something isn't rosy.
And I'm not saying it's one person's thing and I'm the greatest shit ever.
No.
I know there's a lot of problems with everything, but it's like you can't build a business on not getting paid, whether that comes from the top and it just trickles down through the whole, which maybe it does. So that I'm not getting paid.
We deal with the same thing in our industry.
Totally.
Like,
so I'm like, why am I sitting here justifying like what we charge and what we're like offering, and then to just have like people just say like, oh, like I'm not doing, like, okay, well then we'll go a different route because this is clearly not working.
Yeah.
That's not people I want in my life and people I want to work with.
Yeah.
So I'm out. If you want to work with us, you can contact us. And people that do, like Spencer, we have a great relationship with them.
Yeah.
And everyone that's worked with us,
people benefit more when they buy into it themselves too, right? Like,
no one's holding a gun to your head saying you got to do this.
No, exactly. But if you're out there trying to hold a gun to their head saying you need to come to Migration Unlimited, you'll be shit without us, and they're not going to get anything out of it, even if they do come. No. But if they come wanting to get better and train and be in your program,
we've always said like
you're gonna get something.
There's other people out there like that are way more knowledgeable than we are.
There always is,
and there's way more people, or there's other people out there that are less knowledgeable than we are. We're just offering you what we offer you. We know what our expertise are. Yeah. I'm confident in our ability to that. Everyone that's worked with us, I would say 90% of the people that work with us have improved.
Yeah.
So it's like, if that's not delivering on what we're saying we're doing, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you want to go back to another trainer or go to somebody else, have at her. I never said don't train with us.
You can't have 100% success rate with people.
No, but it was like
do the work for them, right? Yeah. That's what he's saying.
But I'm like, I'm not gonna fly across the country and like do these work. Like, you know how to do these workouts.
Yeah.
Just you need to communicate. And if you can't do that, then like I'm out. I don't need to do this anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm out.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. So Corey is full on migration now.
Yeah, like he's also like with the gym there. There's a couple partners, so he has his own like personal training clients as well. He works a lot with lacrosse and hockey players and some football players. And he's absolutely brilliant with biomechanics and with sprint power. Like his ability he works a lot with rotational force. So it's like with core flexion and extension, but like understanding how to like load the body like a spring to generate the most power. He is brilliant with. Like there's nobody that I would ever want to work with other than him.
Yeah.
Mind you, he's a good friend of mine, but like the reason I trust him so much is because even if he's doing something I'm like, I have no idea where this is going, I trust that he is going to deliver on what he is trying to get through to me, even if I disagree with him. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10 that we've had a little headbutt session, he always comes out on top being like, this is what I've been trying to tell you for like a month. And then one thing people don't realize too with our programs is we do them all.
Yeah.
I don't just say do this, this, and this. We're in the gym 5 days a week.
Yeah.
No one sees that because we don't like, I'm not showing you me lifting weights and stuff, but like everything we're giving our clients, we are testing on ourselves. So we know that it works or it doesn't work. And everything that he has showed me, even though I'm like, what the hell is this movement, has been a positive reinforcement for what we're trying to do.
Yeah, he's a really smart guy. We got to get him. Brad offered for him to come in tonight, but I'm like, let's just get Brad.
No, and honestly, he will, like, he can talk about this. This is his life.
So
like, this is what he
what's
does.
his background? I guess we should get him in so we can ask.
We gotta get him in with Brad too, next time.
He is the pound for pound strongest human I've ever seen.
Yeah,
he's got massive quads.
Quad God, quad father,
quad father.
I'm Quadzilla. He's quad father. No, but he is honestly like. He's only probably 5'5", 5'6".
Yeah, he's tiny.
He's a little dude, and he is like it's inhumanly strong. Like he's inhumanly strong.
Yeah,
and you're like, what the hell? Because he wrestled for his existence was to learn how to like fuck people up on a wrestling mat.
Yeah,
for like 15 years, and then he just transitioned that with his schooling. He just went into like training, and he's a genius in biomechanics.
Yeah, we've got to get him in. I'd like to pick his brain on a few things.
Yeah,
we could even do a little we could do a little session here and show people if
we
you
could
want
video it. Yeah, that's a good idea.
If people are interested in that,
they will be. Yeah.
So everyone, like when Spencer came in, like we assessed everything he was doing and like Corey picked him apart like to the point where I was like, dude, that's maybe a little like advanced. But now Spencer, the stuff that he is doing, like single leg stuff, we don't really believe in like overloading like back squats and stuff because it's just like there's no sport in the world other than powerlifting you're ever gonna need a bunch of weight on your back.
More dynamic movements.
It's all dynamic and it's very like agility and reaction based. And like you need to strengthen everything in your body to work as a whole to generate more power and more endurance.
Right.
So we focus heavily on the core and heavily on like adduction. With motocross, you're squeezing the bike the whole time.
Yeah.
So a guy like Spencer came in here. He's a little skinny dude, but like his ability now to like react to things and like you can see how he's like his basically central nervous system. His brain is reacting to things we're telling him, the information we're giving him, and he's like readjusting as he's doing all these workouts. That's all we can really ask for a client right out of the gun because they don't know any better. They've just been doing the same thing over and over. But like a knee angle or your ankle angle or like how you're squeezing the bike. If you're like walking like with duck feet in the gym, you don't ride a dirt bike that way. You ride with your feet kind of your heels almost a little bit out.
I do. I ride like this.
See that we shouldn't.
I know. No, I've been working on it for like 5 years.
You know what I mean? So like little things like that. We were working like that with Spencer, and he was like, "Man, I've never known this about training." And it's like you shouldn't when you get into like a race and you come off the bike or like something happens. You want to land in the best position possible that you're not going to get hurt.
Yeah. So
that's another thing we try to train is like how to like come out of like situations where like things aren't ideal. Right. And it's been pretty cool to see him progress as fast as he has. He's so young and he's just like he's a very like I say he's a good talent, but he's like really on the ball with his training and he clearly wants to get better. So those are the people we want to work with.
That's going to go the furthest.
Totally it is. Yeah. Like if you want to do this just for like to say you're a motocross rider and your parents can be paying the bill, like don't come work with us. Like, just don't. Yeah. You're wasting my time and everyone else's time, including your own.
Yeah, they're just going to get frustrated. You'll get frustrated. It's just...
Yeah, it's just not a good relationship that way. Yeah. And if you think you don't need anybody, then don't hire us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're that good, then do your own thing. And there are guys who are that
do it. Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to work with us. Like,
it's definitely doable.
It's crazy. It's like infuriating when you go up against a guy that hasn't put in half the work and he beats you. You're like, God damn.
Yeah, there's some guys that are just really talented. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But there's no talent there's talent that'll obviously outbid hard work if you're just that good. But if you're talented and you work hard, like you're gonna be untouchable.
Yeah.
So and if you're not that talented and you work your ass off, you can still get there.
Yeah.
So we just want people that are like hold true to their word and they're gonna work and do what we ask of them. We're not asking like the world. It's just like communicate with us what's going on.
Expectations.
Totally. That's my expectation now. I'm like I was an athlete for a long time, still am, but like in a different setting now. But like the coaches and the people that worked under trying to get me to like that maximum level that I could get at when I was racing in Europe and with the national team, we documented every piece of data we could because I know that's going to compare the next year and the next that's like how progress works with anything in life. So these kids that are just like they come to me and they go, "Oh, I want to work with you," or their parents say they want to work with you, but we want to see how this goes first for us. I'm like, don't work with us because this isn't like I'm not doing this for 6 months and then being like, "Okay, hope you had a good year." Like, no, it's like if you're 15 years old, you're not going to be the same person when you're 25.
Yeah,
you have to slowly build that progression up. Can't just be like, here's the training program for 6 months. You're gonna be a god after this. That's not how this works.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it out for 6 months, and if I'm not winning by then, I will quit.
And that's what we found with a lot of motocross people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not.
It's
short-sighted.
short-sighted.
Like,
you're not built for this. And that's, like I said, it's a hard lesson for me to learn because I love the sport. I love a lot of the people in it, but I hate the instant gratification hook that they need. I'm like, well, this isn't for you. Like, you're not cut out for this. That's a hard thing to tell them, though.
Yeah, you can't really. They'll probably get defensive, and
they do all the time. But it's like, I'm just saying, I'm throwing a towel. I'm surrendering to this. This isn't an industry I want to be a part of if it's going to be this much pushback all the time. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, that's totally understandable.
Yeah, I can feel that.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not holding any.
Doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't have to be about motocross. It doesn't matter what job you do. It's the same thing, right? Like, if you're getting that feeling from it, it's just why do it?
Just Canadian Moto has just
you said, you're not out of it.
No, I mean, if you really want to work with us,
well,
I'm not going to say no.
Yeah,
I love the sport. I love what it offers. I love how badass it is.
Yeah,
I love the challenge of getting these athletes to the point where you have to be a fucking savage to do this sport for a living.
Yeah,
I love that. That's my favorite thing about the sport. It's like same thing with road or mountain biking or whatever. You have to be a savage. So if you can do it on your own, all the power to you. Or if someone else can help you better than what we can, have better. But don't say that we're not doing our job when you are improving and you're getting results based on our program, then you don't want to pay us.
Yeah.
The fuck out of here.
And there is more to results too than the actual piece of paper that says what place you finished.
Oh, it is.
You know what I mean?
And if you don't communicate with us, that's not my me and Corey's responsibility. That's yours.
Yeah.
So I'm just sick of taking that in the chest and being like, well, I'm just gonna swallow my pride here. Like, if you don't want to do this, then get the fuck out of here. You don't have to work with us.
Yeah.
So I'm totally confident and fine saying that.
I tell the employees the same thing. You don't want to be here. There's
if you don't want to put in the work, you don't want to take the 30 seconds it takes to record your morning heart rates, then this isn't for you.
Yeah. Well, and from my perspective, for some of these professional athletes, to do something like that, like the recording and all the stuff you don't really want to do,
dude, you can get a watch that does it all for you.
There's things that do it for you.
It's just an excuse.
And it's also, this is your job now. Like, there's parts to every job you don't want to do. I don't want to do some of the paperwork I have to do. I don't want to do, but it's part of the job. You have to do that part of the job to succeed at the other.
And that's what makes it rewarding too, because you you have to sacrifice. You have to do stuff you don't want to do to succeed. That's what makes it rewarding.
Yeah.
Am I quiet? I feel like a little quiet.
I think I'm a little. I heard you pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, that's better. Yeah. We're back. Anyways, are you still working with T-Dags?
Yep.
A little bit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's kind of just doing his own schedule this year.
Yeah. He's same thing. He's kind of like kind of one out of the Canadian motocross thing, and he's gonna be doing a couple of AMA races. Well, he's already done one.
Yeah, dude, he did so good.
He had made a bit of a mistake there, but he's a guy that steps up when he needs to step up, and that's what I love about him. And same thing with him. Never once have I asked him to give me more information. It's like, yo, I'm struggling with this. This sucks. This is awesome. We just talk like I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
There's no bullshit with him. That's why I'm like, this is the person I want in my life, and we've become really close friends because of that.
Yeah. I think he's a guy that a lot of people should be looking up to in Canadian moto, because he is so gnarly. He just goes, okay, now it's like, here's all the marbles are on the table. Let's go.
Any day, any conditions,
doesn't matter.
You give him anything, he's just gonna do what he does, right?
And I think
other than his handlebar setup, you can give that guy fucking any bike, and he'll be like, oh, I'll make it work.
Give me that bars.
Yeah,
he doesn't bitch about it,
right?
He doesn't bitch. Oh, my bike had no power, and this. It's like, I get that's part of it, but it's also like, dude, eventually you got to just fucking nut up and go. Let's go.
Like, I'm still under the impression that our sport is more man than machine. Machine is quite a bit of it.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Especially in the 450 class, maybe 250, you're struggling off the start. That's understandable, but 450,
it's a lot of machine. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but even then, you still got 30 minutes plus 2 laps to overcome 10 seconds of that race, right? Like, you as a person can do more during that race than what your bike can do for you.
Between the years, for sure.
And you know what drives me nuts too is a lot of riders don't take enough responsibility for their bike setup.
Oh,
everyone's like, oh yeah, the setup's off.
This comes back to what you were just talking about, writing down the data.
Yeah.
My dad was telling, as we were kids about this shit. He's like, you should be going to the track and writing down today, the track was dry and dusty, and the bike felt like this, and clickers were at this. Tomorrow, the next thing, right? Nobody ever wanted to do it. Nobody ever did it. And then once we're at the age where you needed it, it was like, well, you don't know how to do it now.
You have to love the dirty, grimy, like shit. It's like, this is kind of boring, but you have to love the process of all of this, or this is not for you.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know how else I can say this to you. If this is not what you want to do, this, like, unless you're like getting up being like, I need to fucking find the 1% today, and it's not fun anymore, get the fuck out. You're just wasting your time and everyone else's. Like it blows my mind how many of those people are out there.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to do this for like for fun, then just do it for fun. But don't be like, oh, I'm a pro motocross racer when you're like, you're not even willing to like eat properly.
Bro,
get the fuck
bro.
out.
How am I supposed to get the chicks if I don't come out of a pro motocross racer?
Well, they're gonna realize you suck pretty soon, so that might be why.
Yeah,
like it's just baffling to me.
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the notebook. I have a notebook upstairs with like every track I rode, every clicker I changed, everything I did, like every year preseason.
There's probably a fine line with that as well. Like,
you can definitely chase it too far.
Yeah.
But I'm more of the kind of guy that's gonna like take it on myself rather than blame the bike. I'm like really,
or your mechanic or whatever.
I'm really like, I will beat myself up over the littlest shit. So I'm like, I don't have a problem with that. So I more need to maybe take a bit of, cut myself some slack sometimes. But everyone has their own way of going about it, right? But
totally.
But what I was gonna say about Tyler is like we were talking earlier about how you got to be like versed in multiple. Like you can't just do one thing. I don't know. I think we were talking about. I don't even know what we're talking. It wasn't even moto, but this kind of relates to moto where he does like off road. He does all kinds of different shit,
and mountain bikes, rides cyclocross, rides road, like
gnarly cyclist, and
like anything with two wheels that guy does.
And he's just like, he might not be the best guy on any given day, but he is like always there. He's always,
and on the days where it's like, okay, this really counts, he somehow shows up all the time.
Yeah. Like the nations, he's always so good.
Always there, and you're just like, damn, like just like, what the fuck, man?
It doesn't matter what day it is.
Totally.
It's just
he just commits. He goes, okay, like gotta go to work now.
And probably part of that is just because even on those bad days, his body just knows how to find the flow and the muscle memory and all that crap where he doesn't have to think about it. Versus guys who don't put in the effort that he does, they have to put the thought into what today's going to be like. How do I make today work?
He knows.
I don't know how to make this work. My body doesn't just know how to make it work. I have to figure out how to make it work.
He knows how to overcome, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and like I've learned so much from that guy. Like it's actually pretty. Like I've only known him for a couple of years, but like that first camp I went to when he was there, and the first couple of times I met him, I just like immediately knew. I'm like, this is the kind of person I want. I just want him in my life, like whether I work with him or not. Obviously, it just worked out that we ended up working together. But it's just like he has an ability that I admire his like this mental capacity to do all the things that he does and just take it in stride. Like they talk about that flow state. I think that's like literally how he lives his life. Even with his kids and stuff, he's just like, yep. Like I know he knows what he wants, and he just knows this might be unattainable right now, but like this is the process how we're gonna get there. And now I'm not gonna worry about all the other shit. You're just gonna take it as it comes. This is the end goal. So I'm gonna do the steps I can day to day to get there. And if it works, great. If not, on the next thing.
Yeah. It's funny how he's changed over the years, though. The first time I met Tyler, he was training with Drew Robertson, Evolved Nutrition. Like, this is probably like 12, 13 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he was kind of like out of shape.
Yeah.
But he's like really grown as a person, I feel like.
Well, I don't know many people that work with Drew other than like Sean and
I did for a bit.
Yeah, but I don't know many people that actually work for Drew.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about like Tyler.
Yeah,
like he grew. Like he's like, it's just weird to think about a guy that was like that Drew had to like pull teeth to get him to do all his workouts and be in shape, and now he's this guy that's just like over the top and on top of everything.
Yeah, I got what you're saying though.
I guess you just learn over the years that that's not going to cut it.
Yeah, I think you kind of get addicted to that lifestyle. Like now, like even. I'm not Tyler, obviously, and I'm in a different sport, but when I feel myself slipping, like out of shape, it drives me insane. I'm just like, okay, I'm taking a month now. I'm not going to drink any alcohol, or like I'm not going to eat anything that I don't need, and I'm going to be a monk.
Yeah.
And I've always been that way though.
Yeah.
So I think some people like you're probably the same way. You're just like, okay, enough is enough. I'm getting in shape.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one thing about
I've never
people.
really been out of that like in terrible shape, but it's like for the general population. But I'm like, I could feel when you're like, I'm starting to feel not so great.
I'm like, I weighed 158 pounds the other day. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm so fat. I can't live with myself. So I'm like, I'm doing 10-day keto, just get back on it. But yeah, that's one thing about like people that are committed to extreme sports or any kind of discipline. Really, they don't lack commitment.
You can't, man. Even in business, like I've learned that thing. I'm like, okay, like I gotta start like figuring out the like financial side of things. Where I'm like, okay, I gotta dial in like whatever like training side or like the travel arrangement we have or like like clothing deliveries or whatever the hell it is. I got like if there's something that I notice is wrong, I'm like hyper focused on fixing this.
Yeah.
You have to do that, or if you don't, then you're not cut out for being an entrepreneur, basically.
Yeah, no.
And you're like, I don't know how to do this. You have to like talk to people that know how to do it and like learn, or else, what are you doing? Go get a job at a corporation or something.
Yeah.
It's just how it is, man. There's some rules in life that luckily don't change, and I'm happy these are some of them that don't because it weeds the ones out that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And that sounds harsh, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, that's a fucking asshole thing to say." I'm like, if you didn't think the way that I think, or if you disagree with that, then this isn't for you. You should be happy you know that now.
And there's other things for people that don't agree with it.
Totally,
right?
but like you're but like or whatever it is, right? But like you're not cut out for this shit.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
I think it's a good thing to know right away.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you have that doubt, you're like, well, this definitely isn't for me.
It's not that you can't get over that doubt too. Like
oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's just harder.
But that's where the resiliency thing comes in. You have to have confidence to be like, I know I can do this. Like when I started migration, I was like, man, there was so much kickback with like people in my close circle. Even I was like, fuck, I don't know if I'm like, can I do this? And eventually, it just kind of starts like certain things work and certain things don't. You just kind of leave those at the wayside and you just go with things that do work, and then you just gain momentum like you do in a race season or whatever it is. And eventually, you go like, no, this actually is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's a cool feeling.
Yeah. It's like this podcast. We started off, we're like, we don't know what we're doing. Now we're like the biggest podcast in the world.
Got Bronc beer on.
Bronc beer. We got thousands of downloads each episode. We're rolling.
But that's the thing, right? Like you got to start. You can't just be like, I'm going to start this and I'm going to be the kingship of the world in a year. No, it takes a while. Talent meets opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Preparation, opportunity.
So if you guys are really good at this, which I think you are, if you're
and even if we're not, we can probably get better.
No, but
I think
sure,
we have.
Sure you can get better.
Well, I feel like we have gotten better.
Well, we've had our struggles. We've had bad episodes. We've had technical issues. We've had, but
that's all.
But we're still here doing it. So it's getting better, and we're gonna get better.
And
too.
we like doing it. That's part of it. You can't. You have to like doing it, right?
You gotta like the grind of anything you're doing. If you don't, then you're fucking in the wrong thing.
Yeah, like it's demoralizing to get home and realize something fucked up overnight, or like something didn't save or something screwed up but you got to get over it and go, okay, let's get back at it next time and not have that same freaking issue.
That's when you got that's like this back to like what we're talking about at the beginning. We're like, you got to just admit when you're like, yeah, maybe that wasn't a good episode. You're never going to learn from your mistakes if you don't admit you had made mistakes.
Yeah.
Or just at least acknowledge some sort of it, right?
Yeah.
Like
have some humility.
Yeah, you don't have to call yourself a complete failure that day. No, it wasn't a failure, but something went wrong.
You're a total failure if you just give up.
Yeah,
like,
there you go.
That's a
failure. Yeah,
if you're like, I'm not doing this anymore. But if you're like, I did everything I could, at least in your own capacity, to be like, this didn't work, and then you move on. That's not a failure.
And everybody's did everything I could be different too. Depending on what tools and stuff you have available to yourself and financials and time and all the different constraints we have. So everybody's, level of, what did I say?
Resiliency. Is that what you said?
Commitment
to it could be different, or their ability to put that commitment into it could be slightly different, right? Like, I don't know where I was going with that. I lost my train of thought.
It's like people in racing who come from a bunch of money. And it's like you're not gonna be willing to push yourself like people who come from fuck all.
Yeah, no.
If you're not, unless you're living in your car like we were doing, like okay, like Evan and I, like if we don't win this race or at least podium, we're not eating this week.
Yeah, that
motivates you more than I can even really describe.
Yeah. There's a difference between
you don't even know what that feels like.
Yeah,
if you came from money or whatever.
Yeah,
like, it's That's not a bad thing if you come from money. I'm just saying, like, there's hierarchies and everything.
Yeah, and there's people that come from money that are super successful at what they do, and they still have drive and motivation and
Totally.
will accept failure and overcome it and be resilient. But it makes you question, I guess the overwhelming majority of those people probably aren't that way because they do have a fallback.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
If you gave me $1 million when I was a kid, I'd be no chance I'd be doing that.
Same, yeah.
No, I don't want to do that.
Huh?
Yeah, no, it all depends on how you're raised too. Like, there's various like I feel like most people with money that are like come from money, they don't have that sense of urgency where they're like stressed about where the next meal is going to come from, like someone else might, right? Or where they're going to sleep.
Well, we're not even at the bottom of that. Like, I didn't come from a lot of money, but I never like went hungry.
Yeah, no, I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying,
but it's like imagine coming from like severe poverty. And
there's people that do that, right?
Like, I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine going up against like these fucking like Mike Tyson is a perfect example.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Imagine fighting that motherfucker when you're like, okay, I come from like a decent like middle class family, and like I never had to like scrounge getting money, like buy crack for my mom or something, like something crazy that he went through. Literally fight to the death to like survive. I don't even know what that feels like. Like, of course I'm not going to win this fight.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. There's hierarchies to everything.
Yeah.
Like that guy or like people like that have a perspective that we hopefully will never know.
Yeah, hopefully.
But it's like, you know what I'm saying? No, it's like you go up against someone who's racing, who's like come from like really rough upbringings or like had to grind their fucking life away to get to where they are. And you come from like this, like you got a nice bike, cushiony fucking existence, like you're gonna get your head ripped off.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with moto though, right? Like if you are well enough off to own a dirt bike, you're probably not struggling too bad. But it's all in. I think it's all in how your parents went about it.
Very good.
Like, are they just like, oh yeah, you can do whatever you want, and then we can go to the race?
Did your parents make you work on your own bike, or did they like hire someone?
It was I had to be there for bike work every single time.
Me too. I printed out a parts manual. I had to go every year. New bike came out. I had to go print off a parts manual, put it like organize all in a binder.
Yeah.
And if my chores weren't, if I didn't have the grass cut, this, that, and the other thing done, it's like we're not going to the races.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but and look at the way you are now.
Yeah. Well, my dad came from like is the definition of came from nothing. Like he grew up in Forest Lawn. You don't know what that is probably because you're not from here, but yeah, like both my parents came from nothing. Basically, they worked hard. They still had really nothing when I was born, and until I was like 8-9 years old, they like sold everything, bought their business, and then now they've been very successful since. But my dad understood that, and he's like he knew why he's successful because he wasn't like he had that urgency that he wasn't if he didn't go work and bust his ass and do whatever else to save money, and he wasn't going to be able to get a car, or he wasn't going to be able to go,
he's still the same way too though. Like he's successful now, he's got money. I'm sure he doesn't need to work he does.
He's talking
about works hard.
But look at the way you are though, Jared. Like you bust your ass.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot. It's probably some kind of genetic factor too, but I think it's probably just mostly because of the way I was raised.
For sure it is. I'm saying it's a positive thing. Like you see it in your day-to-day life, like the way you race or the way you prepare for things, it's like you're all in.
Yeah.
That's a rare, like you don't see that very often.
Yeah.
That's cool.
When I first got the job, my dad first convinced me to, not convinced me. When I first got a job at the shop, when I was not when I first started there, but when I first got my driver's license, and it was my responsibility to get to the shop on time. He says, "Don't bother showing up if you're going to be not even 1 minute late. Don't bother showing up."
Yeah. Well,
there you go.
If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late.
Yeah,
that's how some businesses.
Yeah,
operate,
but our
right?
shop, the buzzer goes off at 6:54, and we're supposed to start at 7.
Yeah,
so like they'll trick you.
Yeah.
Again, part of that makes you who you are, man.
Yeah, no, sure. I'm not like holding any grudges. I'm thankful that I was raised that way. I like it.
Doesn't mean it's not rough sometimes.
No, it's rough, but life's supposed to be rough sometimes.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have it any
every
way.
piece of adversity. There's always good that comes from that, and it turns you into like the caterpillar and butterfly effect. It's like you have to shed that skin every now and then, or else you're just gonna be like if you're not evolving a little bit every couple years. Fuck, that'd be a boring ass life.
But don't you think about like people I work with? It's like so many people are so complacent, and they just don't. There's like no urge to improve themselves every day.
That's on them.
I feel like that's like, this is like what I'm saying when I feel like this like motocross and like elite sport community is so important for people, and how it like really pushes them to really make yourself a better person, like anything.
But again, if everyone was wired the way we're wired, then it'd be
the world would probably implode.
Yeah, we're kind of fucked also. So
yeah, pretty fucked.
No, but like if you had everybody that, like I would say, like I don't know what the actual percentage would be, but like the vast majority I'd say is very complacent. They have their like cushy job, they make whatever money they make, and they like to watch their TV shows and hang out with their whatever their dog or their kids or whatever, and that's their thing.
Yeah.
Some of us just want something else, and I'm totally respectful of them, and that's if you're fucking happy doing whatever you're doing, have at her.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't be so like brash about it.
No, but like, who are we to say screw you for that? But but like that leaves more room for us to do what we want.
Yeah, that's why we excel.
Yeah, totally. There's people that look at the way your lifestyle is too, and they have that lifestyle, and they look at your lifestyle, and they'll say brash things too, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, take a break, you're gonna burn yourself out.
Like, I
look
wish
how
I could
stressed
do this.
you are. You need to
Like,
chill out and watch some TV, man. Like, everybody's
and that might be true for sure
at times, right? Like,
we might die at 60.
And I'm in that train of like, you do need to chill out every once in a while and just watch some TV, but not every day.
No, God,
I can't sit.
Yeah,
you know, like,
but that's what I'm saying. That's why we have our group that's different than the vast majority.
Well, you know, it was like I was talking to you on break there about like, okay, I started running again. You know, okay, I was getting up before work, going for runs. You know, I'd do a week of that, and then a week not, and then I'd do it for another 2 days, and then a week not, and it just, you know, it was just hard to get out of the sitting on the couch mode, and back into working towards something mode, and like you just get it's so hard, so easy.
It's always hard, man. It's always hard.
Yeah,
goal setting is very important. Journaling, goal setting, very important, especially when you don't have like say you're not training for a motocross event, or you don't have any specific goal. You have to find one, and you have to set it, and you have to journal and track your progress. That's what works for me anyway.
Yeah, I guess that's probably why I'm struggling with it, is because it's like, all right, I want to run to get back into shape, right? And then,
yeah, dude, you're looking pretty thick over there.
I know, right?
Thick ass, man.
Thick boy.
But that's the thing, that you have to have a goal with that, though. You can't just be like, "Oh, I want to get into shape." Well,
exactly, and that's why I think I can't keep with it, right? Is because I don't have.
You need like a long-term goal. I feel like now that I'm not racing, I'm kind of in the same thing. I'm like, I don't really know. Like, I like working out, I like riding my bike, but I don't really like have any structured program that I'm following, because I don't really have any goal. I don't have one thing that I'm looking for. I just want to be healthy. But I guess I don't know. I don't really know where to go with that.
I got one more question for you, Brad.
That matter.
If I want some big old beauty muscles,
how many curls does he got to do to get them biceps?
How is migration going to help me get my big old beauty muscles?
We can help you with whatever you need, because you hired us, but also a lot of that comes down to genetics.
Yeah.
So unless mom and dad are pumping iron and are huge,
it's not gonna happen.
I guess. I guess you could take steroids and try that route, but like I don't advocate for that.
Yeah, my balls are small enough. I don't know.
Dude, the way I'm built, I feel like I could do just like do deadlifts and arm curls and bench press every day. I don't think I would get much bigger.
Corey always makes fun of me because Corey gains muscle quite quickly, and I just get really lean and like really veiny.
Yeah,
he goes, so like, how much meth did you do today? Because I'm just like get stronger, but I just get leaner. I'm like, God damn it! Like I just like to look a little bit bigger, but it's just like,
but that's almost a good thing, because you want that good power to weight ratio
for sure. And we always like use the analogy: show muscle, not go muscle. Or sorry, go muscle, not show muscle. Unless you're a bodybuilder and you want to have show muscle, but like there's some bodybuilders that are very very fit and very like strong. But I'm like, I don't think you'd even want to have like huge muscles, because you can't really. Your range of motion is so limited then.
Yeah, but you look sick.
You can just like think about the mirror poses you could do.
Yeah, just
think about the selfies, bro.
Just picture yourself getting out of the shower, dripping wet, and just do a hard flex.
Just raging hard. Just thinking about that, hey? Every morning. That's what Chris does.
I don't know. To me, it's almost as satisfying just to like be lean, and like you have good muscle definition when you're lean anyway.
I would way rather.
It's about strength and power, like you say.
Well, then you don't need to be
less
big
about with the size of your muscle.
Like people who do like the the aesthetic shit, it's quite unhealthy. And I don't like it. Because also it makes me uncomfortable when people are like posing in like little tighty whities, and I'm like you know what? It took a lot of dedication to get there. It's like respect, but also I'm like, and then I see them a month later and they're fat. I'm like, what?
Well, they just dehydrate the shit out of themselves, right?
Why'd you do this? Like, it's so unhealthy. But anyways, I don't want to say I advocate for that, but like we can help you with that. We can help you get really strong.
You can probably help them in a healthier way than just dehydrating yourself and doing arm curls.
So much of how people look though is genetic. Like just like
huge.
Yeah.
There's some cyclists I know like race the Tour de France that are like look like pierogies. And you're like, how in the fuck did you produce enough power to get to this level? And there's certain guys that are like so lean and jacked and shredded and they don't make it anywhere. It's just genetic. It's all it is.
Yeah, look at like a guy like Weston Pike. He's always gonna be a big boy, right?
Yeah.
Like he's never gonna.
He might be like a look at Phil Kessel. No good, no Phil. You know Phil.
I know the name. What is it? Who does he do?
He plays hockey. I think he plays for Pittsburgh now.
Okay,
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Boston.
I haven't watched much hockey.
Yeah.
I know. But he's a top dog in the NHL. He's a fucking sniper, and he's damn good skater and like a good hockey player. And he looks like a sausage, and everyone makes fun of him for it because he also knows it. And he's always like show him like holding up hot dogs. Like I'm pretty sure Heinz Ketchup sponsored him or some shit. But it's like this dude is just genetically built that way.
Yeah, like Tom Brady too.
Totally, Tom. Other than I'm pretty sure Tom Brady had plastic surgery because money, you know.
Yeah.
And he's dating a supermodel who has $100 million in the bank. It's also like, well, maybe he just had some work done. But like, that dude is so fucking slow. It's unbelievable. You're like, I'm pretty sure I could run backwards faster than that guy can run forwards. Like it's wild. He's the best ever. But he is so good. His football IQ is so good. He can throw the ball like a savage.
Yeah.
He just knows. He knows exactly what he needs to do to be good at that position.
Yeah.
All the power to him.
If there was one sport you wanted to like not train, but say you wanted to pursue a different sport outside of like the extreme sports world, like what would you think you'd want to pursue?
Like more than what I'm doing right now?
No, not more, but just say you couldn't do this anymore. You're not allowed.
Yeah, you got to pick a different sport.
You had to pick a different sport, like not extreme sport.
I mean, I work with some football and hockey players, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah,
but shit, I don't know.
I feel like I would like rock climbing. That's probably an extreme sport, though.
Yeah,
I think rock climbing is badass.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not. It's
sure
is. Those guys are savagely strong.
It's insane.
That's a power to weight sport. That's like no other.
Yeah.
Man, that's a tough question.
Badminton.
Like, do you train any badminton players?
Shuffleboard.
I don't, but you know what actually sport is always fascinating is tennis.
Tennis is actually gnarly.
Yeah.
Tennis is a gnarly sport.
Again, any sport at the professional level is.
Well, they're all
gnarly,
amazing. Even
right?
even ping pong is wild at the professional level.
Would you say curling is gnarly?
I have a lot of curling friends. No. My honest opinion, curling should be in the Olympics.
No,
there's a few sports
game
that shouldn't be right now.
Like pistol shooting.
Skateboarding is coming back to the Olympics. Skateboarding is pretty.
Yeah.
Skateboarding, I totally agree should be in the Olympics. I do not agree with equestrian sports being in the Olympics either, because it's so much about your horse. It's not about
Oh yeah, no. What? Yeah, how is that
like,
Olympic?
Don't get me wrong. You have to have that bond with the horse. You have to have that that symbiotic relationship. The horse is doing the work.
Yeah,
you have to be in the right position and
for sure
get the horse to do the right canter before he gets to the jump and like the right strides and the timing. That's all on you. But that fucking horse is doing the work.
That is interesting that's an Olympic sport because I thought they didn't want sports where there was some other aspect machine or something that can help.
And I'm big in the Western world, as you know.
Yeah.
Equine sports should not be in the Olympics.
But when they make it so the biathlon, do you ride a horse in a biathlon? Oh no, that's skiing. That's skiing.
You ski and shoot.
For something
that though is like
for some reason I thought you rode a horse and then shot and then you rode a horse.
Oh, we are totally gonna fuck Skijor. We're doing biathlon this winter with a horse.
Let's do it.
We're doing we're gonna get towed. We're gonna do the Skijor thing I was doing this winter. Yeah. We're gonna do that, but we're also gonna shoot guns.
The horse will fucking bolt. It'll be gone.
So you got to ski
I got to do both actually.
Yeah. You rode the horse
but
and
I
ski?
actually learned how to backflip on skis this winter, and it was fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
I'd done a backflip.
I'm 30 years old. Like I'm an old dog to learn how to do this shit because I never did that when I was a kid. I was too busy racing road bikes. Dude, it is fucking terrifying learning how to backflip on skis. I don't care what anyone says.
Who's your buddy Garrett?
Yeah,
he was at we saw him at Fernie. He threw down a backflip. We were on the chairlift.
And he'd been doing it since he was a little kid.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, you think you teach me this? He goes,
commitment, man.
Totally, it's commitment. He goes, okay, you gotta see these. I should have brought these skis tonight. They are fucking snapped in half. I had 2 black eyes. I broke my neck. Like it was
really
I had a pretty significant neck injury in like early February. It was either from failing to learn how to backflip, or bull riding, or the combo of the two.
Probably both. You probably cracked your neck, and
I went to
riding.
the chiropractor. I'm like, my neck is jacked. He goes, dude, like there's something wrong. So we did X-rays, and my C3 was cracked. I was like, what the fuck?
I had that happen to me one time too.
Totally structurally fine, but like had a broken ass bone in my neck.
I crashed in my dad's track at home when I was like 15. Went over the bars off that Supercross double low to the corner.
Oh yeah.
And I like
arena cross track.
It's like he has like a little arena crossy type track. Yeah,
by the pond there, or whatever.
It goes over.
Yeah, on the other side of that.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I didn't go to the doctor or anything, and then all of a sudden I crashed and I hurt myself some other way, and they did a full body X-ray, and I'm like, oh, you have a broken back. I'm like, I think that was old.
Motorcycle accident.
I did a motorcycle accident. It wasn't
broke
bad.
my back.
Actually, I think it's still broken, but it's like one of those like weird fractures that never heals. Just like a weird little pin fracture or something.
What the fuck?
The spinal.
Spinal.
Was it spinal?
What happened?
A motorcycle accident. Oh, did you do it in sparring? No, motorcycle accident.
Break a vertebrae? Yeah, spinal. I really hope Mike Tyson didn't ever watch this because we're dead.
No, I'm sure every podcast in the world has made fun of this.
That's got to be one of the
holy shit
best clips on the internet. Like, there's so much gold on the internet.
Could you imagine fighting that guy and he says that shit to you and you're like,
I broke my back.
Try being that interviewer.
Dude, I would
Mike,
lose
how you
my
feeling?
cool.
How do you think Joe Rogan actually felt his first interview? Because he was like idolized Mike Tyson. And then Mike Tyson gets in the room and he's all jacked up and he's just like, okay, this guy's done some fucked up shit. And he's like also hurt the biggest heavyweights of the world. And he's a small guy or smaller than them. Then he's in the room and he goes, hi, Joe.
Well, it's funny because I listened to that show a lot. But the first episode he did with him, it was before he was like all about the weed and he's all about ranching. He's kind of fat. But the next time he came in, he was all like juiced up, ready for that fight he did with I can't think of
Sugar Ray.
No, was it?
Yeah,
no, it wasn't
Roy
Sugar
Jones Jr.
Roy Jones Jr. Yeah. And then he's
Sugar
like,
Ray. He's a singer.
Isn't Sugar Ray Leonard a different guy?
Oh, it's Roy Jones Jr.
Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah. Sorry, different guy.
But yeah, he's like, then he got to his new studio. He's like, he made the table like 2 feet wider because he was so scared of Mike Tyson.
That'd be, like even his interviews, he goes, "I'm gonna fight this guy. I'm gonna just put him in the rigor mortis." he would say like he was like talking like some fucking smack. He'd be like, I'm gonna make him rigor mortis or something. Like rigor mortis is like when you're dead and you're like you're stiff.
Yeah, no, rigor mortis is when you're dead.
So you're saying you want to fuck up the heavyweight champ of the world is like Lennox Lewis at the time. I want to make him like rigor mortis, and you say it with a lisp.
Yeah, like put him in rigor mortis.
I'm gonna make him like rigor mortis or some shit. And you're like, this motherfucker's the scariest guy in the history of the walk the planet. He goes, yeah. It's like, wow.
He's just so gentle and so
calm. And then this motherfucker can rip your head off.
Oh yeah.
Like, whoa. Like there's nothing. I think that's more intimidating than anything now. Anytime I hear someone talk with like a little bit of a super nice, quiet accent,
like, I'm like, what's wrong with you, bro?
Don't fucking piss this guy off.
Don't underestimate him. Yeah.
It's like that. Maybe he's slightly autistic.
It could be.
He just fucking snaps.
I think he's actually pretty intelligent.
No, I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
No,
I think he's just had a few too many hits to the head because he'll like try to say some super smart shit and he gets on like that topic and then it's just like he gets stuck.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's just from hits to the heads or
I don't know, man. I haven't hit the head that much, but Jesus.
Yeah.
His punching ability, like I'm a fan of boxing. I'm a fan of martial arts, but like his punching ability when he was in his early 20s, you're just like, it's almost unhuman.
Oh, the power behind his punches.
Like, dude, you're knocking out like people who are like 8 or 9 inches taller than him and like 40, 50 pounds heavier than him. And he was just fucking them up. They were just giving up. They're like, nope. They're all confident and they get punched one time by him in like the ribs and they're like, I've never felt a punch like that. Like I don't ever want to feel that again. Like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, and like that's one thing too. Like, okay, yeah, you get that punch in the face, it hurts like shit. Take that punch in the ribs.
But imagine like feeling a power like you've never felt before.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, I don't know.
They'll probably wind you like instantly.
That's why so many of them just gave up.
Yeah.
They're like, man, I've never like experienced this.
My body's going into rigor mortis right now.
Put them in a rigor mortis or something.
I bet it would be such a shock to your system just to get like even just like a 50% power punch from someone like that.
You watched the fight with the first championship he won when he was like 20 years old against Buster Douglas.
Yep.
I think it was Buster Douglas.
No, Buster Douglas is the one that beat him. The first guy to beat him.
Who's the guy he beat though? His first fight.
I'm
pretty sure it's Buster Douglas.
Maybe it was a second match. I don't know. But I know that Buster Douglas is the first. I'm not like a huge boxing fan, but I know that Buster Douglas was the first guy to beat him.
Can you Google this?
Yep.
I think it was the second round. He knocked him out, and like, you could tell that he was like when he first like got hit, he was like, "Holy fuck!"
This is his first match.
His first heavyweight title fight. Not his first
title
ever.
fight.
Trevor Burbick was his first. Yeah.
Title fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you ever get a chance to watch that on YouTube, and you're just like, this guy was just like, dude, I am not getting in that ring again.
Yeah, he's
like,
20 years and 4 months.
20 years old,
Yeah.
heavyweight champ of the world.
Youngest in history.
And that Customato guy, like designed him to be a killer.
Yeah.
And just like,
hypnotized them and did all kinds of crazy shit. Dude, how is it even like? I think in 10 like only jujitsu and stuff like wrestling.
Oh, dude, I think it'll always be around.
You think? I think it's gonna. People are like getting. I feel like, man, that's like hits to the head like that.
Here's the thing. My honest opinion with fighting. As long as humans are around on this planet, it's like a primal instinct where we're bred. Agree. It's in our DNA to have violence and to fight.
I agree.
And it'll always be a way to resolve conflict. It's just how it is.
I agree, but I think that like
dominance, it's just how it is.
I think that it's going to be like phased like a main thing though, because man, just think about it. Like I think as these athletes age and they see their like repercussions of the head injuries and everything, it's going to be like people are going to
for sure
shut it down.
But like the NFL isn't going to shut down.
Yeah,
if it makes money and people are entertained by it and like people want to do it, you can't say no.
Yeah, it's not going to stop.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I like.
But human conflict, as long as humans are on Earth, it'll always be there. Look at the fucking guy at what was that place in California?
Which place?
The guy came after us or came after me
at where was that? Shogun. Have you been to Shogun, Chris?
Shogun.
It's like a Japanese village type place.
That's not the sushi place we usually.
No, not Sushi Zen. It's like they have all like the hot grill right. You sit around the hot grill and they like make all the
Korean barbecue.
We might have gone. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Brad almost got in a damn near fist fight with this guy because.
Well, what the fuck, man?
That guy was kind of being a dick.
We're sitting around this table. To be fair, I'm a little more like more laid back now. But when I was younger, I was like very like. Yeah, if you want to fucking do this,
this is what like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, around there. And this guy is like, he's a military guy. He's sitting across, like we're at this big. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but like
you're right.
It was you, me, Dom, Sean, and Keelan, I think, right?
I think so, yeah.
And we're around this. This table is like from here to those spin bikes.
Pretty big table.
Like it's a big ass,
big U-shaped table around a grill. Yeah.
It's like you have to like shout to like talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And we're just like. I don't know. We hadn't seen each other in a while. We're
just
having a good time. Like we weren't even drunk. We're just sitting there, we're having dinner. Like we're just having a good time.
Yeah.
And this guy is sitting with, I think it was I'm assuming it was a girlfriend
or wife or fiance,
and
or
his or her parents. Like there's this older couple with them, and this guy kind of yells at us. Is like, "Hey, can you guys shut the fuck up? Like I'm trying to have a meal with my family." And I just went like fuck off. Like we're just like sitting here like talking. Like piss off. So whatever. So the conversation continues for, I don't know, 30 seconds. And then he does it again. And finally, I'm like, fuck this guy. Like, dude, like go sit over there. Like, we're not doing anything wrong. We're just sitting here. Like we're laughing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Nothing obnoxious.
Nothing like we're not being disrespectful anyway.
Yeah.
So this guy gets up and like comes towards us. And I'm like, and he's like he's a military guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, here we go. And I look a lot smaller sitting down. And I stood up. And he was like, fuck. And he grabs me. I we like kind of went to the corner, and he's like, "Hey man, my girlfriend's over there, and I'm with her family, and I'm trying to kind of act up, kind of like
no way,
kind of like act tough right now, but like, can you just fuck off?" And,
I didn't know he said that.
Yeah, and because I had him like by the scruff of the neck, and I'm like, he goes, "I'm in the fucking military and all that shit." I'm like,
he's like, "Don't you respect it?" I'm like, "I'm from fucking Canada, bro. That's all the thing I remember."
Yeah, I was like, "I'm from Canada. I don't even know. I didn't know."
What? Yeah,
I'm like, this has like your military grading
I
is
wrestle
nothing.
bulls, guy.
I'm like, dude, like I ride fucking bulls, man. Like they're 2,000 pounds. You're like 150. Like, what are you doing? And then he realizes, I'm like, this is gonna end poorly. Like, fuck off. And he gave the military thing. I'm like, I don't care. Like, you should be more respectable if you're in the military. Like, you should know this. And he's like, kind of trying to act tough for my girlfriend and stuff. And I'm like,
I didn't know. I had no idea he said
yeah,
that.
I'm like, okay. And then what the hell did the mom say to me?
Oh, I can't remember what it was.
She like tried to throw wine at me. Like she
really?
she came around like because they went to a different table and the cook was like spoke Korean. I think he's like I don't know. He's like
still whipping up.
He's
fried rice.
He's chopping shit up just like I don't want to fight. So then we get swarmed by the manager and stuff, and the guy like they go sit over where I'm like I offered to pay for the fucking meal and stuff. I'm like I don't know what the hell his deal, but he was cool after, but I think he was just like I got myself into a weird bind here, and now I can't back down. But like I'm gonna look like a pussy. But I'm like this is weird. But there will always be conflict no matter what.
Yeah, no, I agree.
For sure.
You can't avoid it.
No,
but shit like that, like you have to confront that. You can't be like nope, like you don't get to talk to me that way.
Yeah,
and then you establish like I wish there was less like. I'm not saying violence is a good thing, but like when it does arise and like someone deserves to get their ass whooped, there should be less consequences involved with like the jurisdiction or our judicial system in Canada. Like in terms of like if you're like attacking somebody, totally you should go to prison or whatever.
But if you're defending yourself, you'll still go to jail.
If someone's fucking trying to mess you up and you hurt them, like people don't understand the actual repercussions of violence.
Yeah.
If you're not trained how to fight and you try to fuck somebody up and knows how to, you're gonna get hurt like badly.
Yeah.
And these people in bars are like acting all fucking tough and like meatheaded. I'm like, you have any fucking idea what like that 12-year-old girl in jiu-jitsu class could do to you? She could literally rip your head off.
Yeah.
And they're just like and there's people walking around like that everywhere, and you have no idea.
You never have a clue what somebody knows and who they are.
I know. I'm like, you know how stupid it is to go to someone in the bar and be like, I'm gonna fuck this person up. That person could like know some gnarly shit that you have no idea even exists.
Yeah.
Not even that. They could have a knife. They could have whatever, right?
Or his fucking buddy. You know, like you think you can take him on, but there's no such thing as a one-on-one fight anymore because everybody's got to have their whole crew jump in on everything. So
it's wild, man.
You know, you pick a fight. You know, Jared and I get in a fight. It seems pretty fair, and even till Brad steps in, and then it's not a fair fight.
Dude, me and you got in a fight one time.
Yeah, we did.
we got
over it.
Who won?
It wasn't.
It wasn't. Like, it was.
I would say I won because
the moto.
Chris left, so I won.
It's my house, but you left.
No, we were at the 7-Eleven. I'm like, dude, buy me this, and I gave him a bunch of money, and he's like, nah, I'm keeping your money. I didn't buy you shit. I'm like, what?
At the 7-Eleven. Yeah. Holy fuck! It
was a Max. It was a Max.
Yeah.
What are you guys from Manitoba? Like,
no, we were at Todd's house, and we went to the Max. Oh man, how dumb that was.
That was so stupid.
But it's fine. We were like, next time we hung out, we were just like, it's fine.
Oh, it's hilarious. But there's some people like we had a guy, 2 guys in Calgary. I'm sitting at a patio in Marteloup. It's like some brewery by the what the hell's the name of it? It's on just off 33rd. Like the Marteloup Brewing Company, maybe. Yeah,
I know.
It's like there's a big patio on the street.
Yeah.
And these 2 old guys, they're not even that old. They're like probably in their 40s, 50s. They walk in. I can already tell they're like wasted or they're on something, and they're like being super inappropriate to everybody, like staff, people there with their families, like talking about like pussies and shit. Like just like, dude, could be in a creep. That's all I said. Yeah. And he goes like, he just turns around, and I'm like, why is this always me? This guy gets up from his little booth, comes towards me. I'm like, here we go. And he goes, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And he swung from like his ankle. He was so hammered. I just went like, grabbed his arm. Over. No, I just grabbed his arm. I just twisted. I'm like, okay, we're gonna go back to our seat now because this is crazy. Like, what are you doing? And his buddy's like, what did he say? I'm like, you were fucking sitting right there. Like, you know what? He's being a creep.
Yeah.
And he goes, I was just trying to be nice to you. I'm like, you just tried to punch me in the head from Mars. Like, I'm like, how do people like alcohol is the worst thing with that shit. 'Cause I'm like, you think you are so much better than you are. I'm like, you have no idea. Like I could be in a bad mood today and just fuck your whole world up. But like, and the people that don't have that control will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
like,
what happens.
You're
right?
gonna go into a bar and swing at somebody that is like 4 times the size of you, and you expect things are gonna turn out for you. Like, what are you doing?
Well, and like it goes back to what you're talking about, people defending themselves, and then they end up in trouble for it because they beat the shit out of somebody so bad. But like when you're defending yourself, some of these people, they just go into that fight or flight, blackout, and yeah, that's it. It's
like if someone's coming
over.
at, here's the thing: if you're getting, I don't condone violence or getting in street fights at all. It's stupid. It's like there's no need for it.
No.
But if someone comes at me with a beer bottle or like comes to swing at me from their fucking hip, you're lucky I know what I'm doing a little bit and like didn't clock you, because you could either be dead or in the hospital for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like what are you fucking doing? It's wild that people don't think about that. Yeah. And until you've had like a combat sport, training session or like hang out with someone like my brother,
where somebody checks you and puts you in your
and
place,
humbles you to the point where you're like, you are nothing more than a fucking little fly at this point. Like, I could do whatever. Like my brother could do whatever the fuck he wanted to me.
Yep.
He could break my every joint and leave with a smile, and not even a scratch on him. And I'm like, I'm gonna fucking act tough anymore? Like, not a chance.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's fucking crazy to me that people don't understand the repercussions of violence.
Yeah.
And until you've been to like a war, which I never have been, but like unless you've seen some fucking crazy shit like that, you have no right to ever go to that level of like animosity and violence.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what it's like.
Well, we're so bubble wrapped as a society.
That's
general,
exactly. And I find it more like that in you go to a country life and there's a bit of a conflict. There might be one fight every now and then, but everyone knows like what could happen.
Yeah.
It's like they're all cowboys. They're all kind of like the way it is. You don't fucking stir shit up if you don't want to get your ass whooped. In the city, it's not like that.
No.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And I think it's getting worse as it goes on.
Yeah. Yeah, it will.
These punk ass kids are saying shit. I'm like,
oh, that's why I hated
what
going to the bar half the time, was just because there's always some fucking idiot saying something stupid, trying to do something stupid. It's just like, I don't want to put up with it. Like, I don't want to even be in that situation. I don't want to put myself in.
I don't either.
In that.
And as I get older, I'm like, I want to go away from people more now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to associate with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to piss me off.
Well, you're putting yourself in a bad situation where you'll end up in jail or charged with something because some idiot did something stupid.
It's wild.
Yeah.
But again, people that aren't trained in like self-defense, like jiu-jitsu or like any kind of like even Muay Thai, like that person could kick your head off your neck. And you're gonna like start beaking them? Like, what are you doing? It's unbelievable to me.
Yeah,
it just blows my mind. And like very unassuming people, you wouldn't expect to like know what they're doing. It
usually is.
I'm like, really? Are you gonna talk shit right now to this person?
Well, look at Mike Tyson.
Look, although I wouldn't want to.
Well, you physically look at, but you heard that guy, you'd go, I could take him.
Yeah, that's what we're getting at. Like, it sounds like a little bitch, but no, that guy is like one of the toughest humans alive.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
I feel like there was another altercation where you got in like a street type fight deal. I can't remember.
Well, it's happened a lot to me, but I also used to go looking for it.
Yeah, but I feel like I was with you for one, not just the Shogun one.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think. I don't know.
The weird, and I'm not a black belt or anything, but I spar a lot and I do a lot of jiu-jitsu now and a lot of Muay Thai, and it's like right away when you've done it enough, they like to know like if someone knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I'm not advanced by any means, but it's like if I'm in a bar and someone is like getting aggressive, I know exactly like they're either gonna try to one punch you or they're just gonna like. It's been a couple of years since I've been to a bar because of COVID, but like it's so easy to defend it when you learn how to defend it. You don't even need a violence; you just get close to them.
Yeah,
and take them to the ground.
Yeah,
but it's like if you don't know that, you're gonna get your fucking head taken off. It's wild.
Yeah.
Like it's actually wild. And when like my brother has always talked about it, he goes, once you learn how to like use this stuff, and again, he is far more advanced at this stuff, like militant levels stuff. He goes, I don't want to inflict any of this because I know how to do it now. He goes, I'm much more zen than I've ever been. The more advanced I get in martial arts. Like that's a very interesting one.
That is kind of interesting. Yeah.
He's like, no, I know I could like go and be fun. I could just like mess people up. He goes, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like my ego's gone.
Yeah.
Like it literally saved his life.
Yeah.
Martial arts.
That's interesting.
Mixed martial arts saved my brother's life. which is a wild thing to think about.
That is, because most people just look at, you know, it as a violent sport, and you know they wouldn't see any good out of it. But
it's violent when you're also in a training situation, like with jiu-jitsu, for example. It's like there's no striking involved. It's just grappling, and it's like you're trying to contort someone's body and use their weight and momentum against them.
A lot of strategy.
So it's like a puzzle. You're trying to figure out like how I can like twist this person's leg or like get them in a lock where I can choke them out. But it's not that violent. So you actually learn how to like not be confrontational. You learn how to like strategically plant yourself in a position where you can like diffuse it.
Yeah.
It's very strange. It's very counterintuitive.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And even with boxing, like the art of boxing is to punch and then not be punched.
Yes.
So it's like you're always reading the body language of the other person. So if you can figure that, like look at Floyd Mayweather, the best to ever do it. He's defensive first. He's not offensive first.
100%.
He's waiting for you to throw a punch that you expose something that he can strike you with.
Yeah.
Whereas most, like Mike Tyson, is just going to try to rip your head off. But like
he will.
but that's the art of actual like striking and boxing. It's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
If you can learn how to like read someone's body language, you know what's going to happen before it even occurs.
Yeah.
And so you can, if we taught every kid a little bit of that, I think you'd have much less violence and less bullying and all that shit. I really do.
For sure. Yeah, no, for sure. 100%.
It's an interesting thing.
And that's coming from someone who's like, I'm a beginner with this stuff. But it's like, I know enough now that can hurt a lot of people. And I know that I'm not shit compared to most. So if you taught that to young kids from a young age, like even like gym class, like make it a prerequisite to like graduate, you know, elementary school, how to defend yourself, there'd be no more of this shit.
That would be a big step. There's a lot of things they could do. Like we could get into a whole nother podcast on the educational system, but yeah, for sure. Like that would prevent a lot of problems and give a lot of kids a lot of the kids that get bullied.
Gives you confidence and also realizes that you're like, I don't really want to hurt anybody or get hurt, so I'm just gonna not do this.
Yeah, you got to understand the consequences of it.
That's how 90% of fights I think start, is like you just don't understand what you're even arguing about. You're just being a dick.
That's it.
Yeah.
Huge. Wow.
Yeah, it's but that primal instinct will always be there as long as humans are alive. I think fighting is in our DNA, man. It's how we became here.
That's how we evolved. You know, fight over
you
that.
Have to fight for your land. You have to fight for your food. You have to fight for at one point in time.
Just because war is different now doesn't mean it's not still there.
Yeah.
Fight for that woman.
That's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, you fight with the woman or
fight for that woman?
Sorry. I thought it was fight with the woman.
But imagine like going back to, say we like regress 500 years even. Like no technology, no like
we'd be fucked. Like half the population would be dead.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Think about that though, like the reality of that situation. It would be wild. And I think it's really only countries that are like called like first world or like further advanced. Like this shit that's going on in Africa and Syria right now, like it is fucking wild, and we're just oblivious to it.
Totally, 100%.
Like it's we should put that in our education system, being like, do you know what's going on across the world right now?
Yeah, like
it's still our planet.
Yeah,
it's just like war torn and just like poverty, like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah,
like I bet you the slum in Mexico City or like in anywhere in Africa is probably tenfold population wise to what the entire population of Canada is.
It is,
which is pretty heartbreaking when you think about it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was like, even just to hear that you're in the top of 1% of the whole world if you make $34,000 a year.
Yeah,
like it's kind of nuts.
Pretty
like,
humble living for
we're
here,
in such our own little bubble. We are so oblivious to what's going on everywhere else.
Yeah,
and it's
like
kind of messed up.
To fly over Mexico City and there's like 30 million people or 20 million people that are living in like tin sheds.
And I've never been to Mexico City. Have you?
Yep.
You have?
Yeah. I never really toured around the slums at all, but I've spent a lot of time in Asia as well. And you're just like, how in the hell do people live like this? Like just stacked on top of each other. There's no nature. It's just like we were there for tour Beijing, and it's just like pollution up the wazoo and just people, like so much people. And in Thailand, same thing. There's just people everywhere.
People,
concrete, and just slums, and you're just like, wow, India is next level. You can't even sit on a bus in India and like not have someone right there.
Yeah,
like we have a lot of like space between us right now.
And this is as close as I want to get.
I don't want to get any closer.
Yeah. Dude, you give me COVID if you get any closer.
But like you sit on a bus in India, or you're walking down like a main street in fucking in any major area or anywhere really.
Yeah.
They're right next to you.
Yeah.
It's not their fault. There's like 1.4 billion people in
India
alone.
I think isn't it more?
Might be
than
more
that?
now.
Yeah.
Pull it
That
up.
is
Pull it
wild.
up.
That's wild.
Yeah, I think India is.
And was it the size of like Alberta? Maybe.
No, India's pretty big.
It is big. Yeah, but still.
India's like probably the size of the Western United States.
You were right. 1.4.
Okay.
Yeah.
China's
how
got
big?
like
How
what?
big is India?
Like
Landmass wise.
India. One sec here.
India? They go India compared to Canada. It's
Sure as hell isn't as big
no
as Canada.
landmass.
India land area is 3.2 million kilometers squared.
And look up the U.S. 3.2.
3.2 seems like a big number.
It's big. It's probably half of the states.
9.834 million kilometers
Yeah.
squared.
Not
Okay,
far.
so a third.
It's like it's like the Western United States, and there's 1.3 billion people
And
there.
there's what 350 million people in the U.S.
330 or
And
something.
I think that's pretty cramped.
That's like, well, you go to Southern California, like, wow, there's as much population as there is in all of Canada crammed into Southern
in one
California.
state. Yeah.
So it's that's perspective for you.
It is wild, man. The first time I ever went to China, I got off the train. I went, what the hell? You're in such a foreign place to what we're used to. Like language is different. Everyone's speaking a different language. The technology is different. The mapping system's different. The trains are like everything's different. So you're like already kind of in shock. And I'm like 18. And then you get off the train and you're in Hong Kong and it's like there is just people as far as you can fucking see. It literally is like an ant colony. And you're like, what the and it somehow it works, but like it's wild, man.
Doesn't seem healthy though.
No, but it's like it's coming from like a place where we come from where we have a lot of land and like wide open spaces. I'm like, I've never seen this many people. I don't ever want to again.
Is China like what is like the remote locations of China like?
I've never really been.
Does anyone know?
Well, I spent a month in Thailand on a motorcycle and in Vietnam and Cambodia and stuff, and it's like beautiful. It's a jungle, but
Still
it's like
a lot of people though.
Oh, you go to Bangkok? Like Bangkok, I don't know how many people are in Bangkok, but it is wild. It's just like subdivision after subdivision of just people and slums, and you're just like, does this ever end? Then you get into like a different country, and it's the same thing.
Yeah,
dude, what the hell is going on with Taiwan? You guys seen any of this?
No.
What do you mean?
Like China has basically overtaken Taiwan.
They've always been a war, I think. Or they've always hated each other.
Yeah, but now they're like China's taken over it, and now John Cena said, "Do you see this thing about John Cena?" I haven't either, but I've like heard about it.
The wrestler?
I've seen little clip. Yeah, so he did a movie or something, and he said something like, "Oh yeah, Taiwan is going to be the first place to see this movie." And then he issued a formal apology to China, saying that he recognized Taiwan as an actual country.
Wow.
It's fucked up over there, man. I think we don't really realize how fucked up it is over there.
No, that's fucked.
So he got in trouble for, I think my headphones off, my ears are getting crushed.
Yeah, that's all right.
He
got in trouble for recognizing Taiwan as a country.
Because China like took over.
Yeah, China's like same with like when the COVID thing was happening and the WHO, the WHO or whatever they're called, the WHO, some reporter asked them a question about Taiwan. He's like, "Oh yes, China is this and that about COVID." They're like, it's so weird. It's whack.
Yeah.
Well, look at North Korea. Like, can you imagine what it's like over there?
Dude, we don't even know. No one knows.
Well, you hear some of the reports of some of the people that escape there, and you're like, they have one needle per hospital kind of deal, and they're like starving to death, and no one has a clean water.
And they like to paint this pretty picture about how great it is there, and it's fucked up, man. Man, you gotta realize how privileged.
Our home planet. It's just like,
you gotta realize how privileged we are over here.
Oh, if you don't, you're out of your mind. But again, perspective. Unless you've been those places.
Well, no one has though. No one can go there.
Well, not there, but like unless you've been in like Thailand or anywhere in Asia where you're like, or India where you see the amount of I've never been to like the heart of I've been to South Africa. I've never been to Africa.
Yeah.
Like,
even just going to like Mexico.
There.
Even going to Mexico, just like we went to what's it called?
Tulum.
Yeah, it was awesome, but yeah, you definitely get an eye opener. of what life is like other places.
Yeah, it's actually fucking crazy. But we'll always have war, I think, as long as there's humans around Earth.
Until we evolve into some alien type
cyborg
being.
thing, go to Mars.
Some AI type VR
Have you heard that
guy.
Hear that conspiracy? They think that we're actually the aliens that came from Mars because they found water and bacteria on Mars.
I've heard all kinds of conspiracies. I've also heard the Earth is flat.
Because we ruined.
Is the Earth flat? I don't know. I haven't heard recently the update on this.
Definitely not.
Might be.
Well, how is it is what it is. We're in the what's it called?
The firmament.
The firmament. So we're in there. That's the dome.
The dome. What's that guy who told us that? What's his name?
I can't remember his name. The O2SF truck driver. You know him?
I probably do.
I know you'd know him if you've seen him, but I can't think of his name.
He's a truck driver?
He's the truck driver for the O2SF team, or was.
Oh, Kelly?
No, not Kelly. I don't think his name's Kelly.
Keelan. I don't know.
I can't remember.
Anyways, I don't want to blast this guy.
No, but he was educating us on the firmament.
Yeah,
that's where we got it from.
Yeah. He's giving us all kinds of lowdown on the flat Earth. Just the normal stuff.
Like he believes in the flat Earth?
He's 100% in.
I run into quite a few flat earthers these days.
I've never met one.
I've met one.
Anyway,
maybe it is flat. Maybe we're all just sheep. You get the vaccine, you're a sheep. The vaccine is just to keep you believing the Earth is round.
So, I'm gonna hold my tongue on this. Hold my tongue.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, that's 3 hours.
Yeah, it's a good one, man. Thanks for being here. We'll have to get you back in soon with Corey.
You betcha. Yeah, we'd love to talk more about science behind the physiology.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. This was a nice kind of just shooting the shit one.
Yeah.
We'll get into
fun
some
to catch up.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Good to see you guys. Yeah,
it's been a while, right? Like,
we're gonna be.
We'd love to be back, man, for sure.
Yeah,
show you some actual stuff that can help some viewers that are motor people are listening.
Pick Corey's brain a little bit.
Totally, yeah. Corey's
once he's super smart. You'd be pretty impressed with him.
Sure.
Yeah, and he's a savage athlete too.
Yeah. And thank you to our listeners. If you made it this far, you're fucking pretty cool. So, we'll be bringing more of these soon. We're gonna pump them out now. So, got the new studio.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, it's a good time.
What's your outro?
I got a little change in my pocket going jingle-lang-a-lang. Wants to call you on the telephone, baby. I give you a ring, but each time we talk, I get the same old thing. Always no huggy, no kissy until I get a wedding ring. My honey, my baby, don't put my love upon no shelf. She said, don't give me no lines and keep your hands to yourself. Ooh, baby, 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 why you want to treat me this way? You know I'm still your lover boy. I still feel the same way. That's when she told me the story about free milk and a cow and said no huggy, no kissy until I get a wedding vow. My honey, my baby, don't put my love upon no shelf. She said don't